Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Irrelevant Podcast. We are here with episode 42. I'm joined once again by Jason. I do apologize for the last episode. Not only did it take a little while to get out, um, Jason informed me that there was some technical issues, which I kind of was aware of, but I couldn't exactly tell where they were, like where the issues started occurring in the episode, right? And then I was kind of in denial. I was like, "Nah, that sounds fine." But then you texted me, dude, and you were like, "Yeah, Will, this is unlistenable."
Yeah, it's fine until about halfway, and the audio just fucking we start saying things at the same time. I don't know why we've been having a slew of audio issues recently, but hopefully this is the end.
Hopefully, yeah. I don't know what happened. Like at some point, the audio just because for the like you said for the first hour and like 15 minutes, it's pretty good. And hey, like I only advertised that it was the Prince of Egypt we were talking about. So in that aspect, you get what you're clicking on. But yeah, I when I have time on Saturday, I'm gonna go back and edit it. I'm sure I can just I think you said what the exact time is. I saved it in your chat. I can just go and check what that is and then adjust it from there.
Can you edit on YouTube, or do you have to like re-upload the shit?
No, yeah, that's the annoying part. I have to go back, delete the video, and then have to re-upload it again. That's what's annoying.
Rip.
Yeah, dude, that's why I could get some sort of, or I honestly don't think I would really make much money anyways, but I could do some sort of monetization if I didn't have all of the playlists on my channel because I have the right amount of watch time, subscribe like eligible subscriber count, like I have the minimum of everything, right?
Right.
But the only problem is those playlist videos. Like other than that, I'm eligible to monetize on YouTube. But at the same time, I don't know if I would still be at that. I don't know if I would have gotten to that subscriber count or hours viewed or amount of views without all the playlists because a bunch of them like did really well. Like the first one I posted got like 1 million. A bunch of them got like several thousand.
You
Like
have your workout cut for it. Cut out for you. That's what I'll have to say.
wait,
You're
what's up?
dragging out this intro, buddy.
Oh yeah, fuck. Well, I was just letting people know about the just the news, because we got the news about the pot. We always have the news, like, hey, so this is what this is going on. You know,
The news.
yeah, the podcast news, like podcast related shit.
I get
Podcasts.
you. I get you. I get you. I get you.
You're
I get
like,
you.
Will,
I
shut
get
the
you.
fuck up already.
Fucking God.
Yep. Well, so you want to go right into the recommendation?
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah. So Jason recommended to me another Mastodon album. This time he went with Once More Around the Sun.
I did. That is correct.
Yeah. So could you give me a little bit of introduction to this album?
So, Once More Around the Sun is another one of those albums that I think most people, when they're like, I'd say after The Hunter, that's when they started to not like the direction that Mastodon was going in. So, this is another one
Mmm.
that was a little bit poppier than their older stuff, but it's way more intricate than The Hunter. I was going to go with Leviathan or Remission, which is their older, heavier stuff, and that's why I gave the option. But you wanted something a little bit more melodic and poppy, so I went with Once More Around the Sun. I think we talked about this last time. It's the coolest album cover that they have. Um,
I don't know if I would say that definitively, but it is pretty badass.
the colors pop. So
Oh yeah, with the it's like what even is it? It's like a bug mixed with like and it's simultaneously like I don't really think it's creepy, because you
I
think
don't
like
think
a
it's
bug,
creepy.
but you think like a bug mixed with like an alien or whatever would just be really creepy, but it's not. It's just kind of mesmerizing to see all the little designs and everything.
Right.
I can't wait to like, especially this looks really good in a thumbnail.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's
Um,
it's a it's a visual one. It's a popper.
oh yeah, that I love the albums that like I can put it on a thumbnail, and I can be like, oh yeah, we talked about that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I always try to make good thumbnails. I think I've gotten a whole lot better at them. Like I was
I
very
like them. I
impressed.
like the little collage that you do. It's a nice little, like I said, it just catches your attention. But anyway, what did you think of this album?
Hmm. So right off the bat, I did not like it as much as Crack the Sky or The Hunter or
You like the Hunter better than this one?
well, I'd probably have to go listen to. I have to go back and listen to it, but I can obviously say that Crack the Sky was better and Blood Mountain.
Well, yeah, those are their most coveted albums. So like that, like Crack the Sky is probably their opus.
I'm just talking about this from the stuff you showed me,
Yeah.
right? So like your perspective is obviously yeah, like you have a better perspective of the band, but that makes a whole lot of sense. What you're saying, like the people didn't like the direction they went. Um, I could like yeah, I didn't think it was poppy. There was a couple good songs like that. That's really the thing that I didn't really like about the album is that it was not as epic and memorable and just catchy as Crack the Sky, and it was not as like oozing with atmosphere, like just ethereal as Blood Mountain. And the Hunter, I'm actually kind of blanking on what that one was. Um,
That
yeah.
one had more
Well,
catchier like choruses, and it was like I said, more traditional. It's probably the most. It's probably the easiest. Like if you were to like sit down and play them, I think the Hunter probably has the easiest Mastodon songs to play. I would say, as far
I
as
wanna
their
I
songs
wanna
go,
go
not
back
just in
and
general.
yeah, I'm sure once I listen to it again, I'll remember the melodies. But for this one, even the songs that I liked and they catch my attention. Sorry, caught not catched. Fuck, caught my attention. It was really only like certain parts of the songs and elements. Like Ember City, I love that guitar solo at the end.
Yeah,
I thought that was fantastic. Tread
yeah. Ember City's
Lightly,
really fun to play. I
um,
like the little speed picking part that goes before they go into the solo. That one's always fun as to do as a little warm up.
yeah, actually, I want to hear you play a lot of like these in person. I think that'll be fun.
Man, they're fucking hard. The one that's kind of fun to play also is more difficult than it sounds is Asleep in the Deep. I think as far as like ethereal and dreamy, that's probably the most on this album. The music video
Mhm.
is really trippy too. It's about a cat that, explores a psychedelic realm. They always have weird, quirky music videos.
Yeah, I am. Oh, is that what the lyrics are about too?
I actually don't remember.
Because
I
I
don't
didn't
really
really.
get too heavily in the lyrics with Mastodon because I feel like they're not really like
They're
the
good. They're good when you actually look at them, but I just don't even really. I don't even really think about it. Like Gojira, I
this
think the words are obviously more overt.
yeah.
It's just something about like just not the volume level, but just the style in which he sings. It's
It's
just
hard to catch them.
more right, and it doesn't demand your attention as much. Like what you're really focused on is I mean it's the whole experience in general. I think with all the guitars, right? But the singing, it's and especially because all three of them are singing.
Yeah.
Um, it's really just more of like an ensemble kind of thing.
Yeah, it's really more for the vibe of it. They don't really, and that's with most like
Yeah, they're pretty
metal in
unique
general. The
in that
vocals,
aspect.
unless it's like a like core or it's pop punk or it's just that's just the structure of it. The vocals are the center stage, and the give a fuck about the instruments in the background. It's all squashed to hell and sounds like shit. The vocals are really there to get all the the underage girls to jump into the tour van. That's why they're there. But this, like
Oh
most
fuck.
metal genres, is just
Yo,
meant to
wait.
be more of a
Who
mixture.
who did that?
Every fucking popular metalcore, deathcore, pop punk band you can think of. They're
Fuck,
all groomers and all that. Not to say I'm just being
dude,
overgeneralizing, but
who in
um,
the entertainment industry isn't? Like, it's almost just like,
yeah,
what,
it
like,
is a given. But
whoa,
not many
really?
people in this genre though. Like bands like Mastodon, Gojira, like most of these guys are just chill and like they don't have any criminal records and don't really do that shit. So not many in
I
this
think
genre,
that
I will
too,
say.
but yeah. Um, but yeah, so I did like Tread Lightly. That was a good opening track.
Yeah.
I really liked that. Like, I think when it got to like the half point, and you just hear like that gallop, I thought that was really well done.
Yeah.
That's a good song for the gym. But
Yeah, a
like,
lot of these are good like treadmill running songs.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Um, that is one of like the more positive aspects of the album. Chimes at Midnight. I like that opening.
Yeah, the riff is
It's
fun.
really, yeah. They always do really cool things with the guitar, where like it almost like doesn't even sound like it's a guitar.
Yeah, they're
You
big
know?
into effects. They were the first band because I listened to them like very early into my music career, so I wanted to get all the pedals and have the massive spaceship console to fuck with all the knobs and create really weird, trippy sounds. Like I love when bands do that. Not many bands do that these days. A lot of it's just digital processing that they do in the
Mm.
studio, and then they kind of backtrack it live, or they just skip it live, or they just whatever they do. But I like bands that actually mess with effects, analog effects, and obviously there's digital effects you can mess with in pedals too. But yeah, they always have really, really cool sounds, just physical, sonically good sounding things, even if the song isn't that's good itself. But yeah, Tread Light's a good one. I like the riff for the Motherlode. That's also a really fun riff to play. The chorus is a little poppy, but I like the song overall, I think.
For which one?
The Motherlode.
Fuck. A lot of these like I hate to say, but like a lot of them like I'm just blanking on them. They just were kind of forgettable.
Well, I think that's the one that's the most distinctive song on the album besides Asleep in the Deep, I think is another. And then Chimes of Midnight, the pacing of that song I think is different from the rest of them. The only song that I don't
Oh,
like on
oh
here
yeah,
is
the
High
Motherload.
Road.
Motherload,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember that like the this time. Yeah.
Yeah, that song.
Okay.
But that intro riff is a really fun riff to play.
Mhm. Yeah, I bet. I
Yeah, but
oh,
High Road is the only song I don't like on this album. It's too like I
I
don't.
don't
There's
even
something
remember
about
what
it. It
that
just
one is.
lacks momentum. It's the one with the really slow chugging riff. That one. I like mouthing riff noises.
Yeah. Feast Your Eyes, I remember there was something. Let me listen to an excerpt of it. Hold on.
I'm actually blanking on that one. I should have picked Leviathan. It has more.
I don't like that one. No.
Yeah, I don't like Feast Your Eyes. Yeah, High Road and Feast Your Eyes. I don't
Thought
like.
that was it. I think actually I'm thinking of Asleep in the Deep because that's the one you said was really fucking trippy.
Yeah, that song is really
Um,
really fun. I love that song a lot. I actually out of this whole entire album, that's actually the song that I just have on my playlist that I listen to all the time.
yeah.
Um,
Oh,
that
Aunt
and Diamonds Are the
Lisa,
Chalice.
I didn't really like that one.
The intro riff is really cool, but like I don't like
Yeah,
the.
but it just I think the rest of the song like it just totally overshadowed that.
And yeah, it's weird because and I remember I was like because I hated this album when I first listened to it. I was one of those things like I was a fan of them, and this was the first like new album that I was gonna experience from them. And I was like, huh, I don't because I was really heavy into Crack the Sky, so I was like, I don't really like this at all compared to Crack the Sky. And when I was looking at a bunch of reviews for this song, they were like, why the fuck did they get like a little choir kids like doing a chant?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. That was cringe. I
Yeah.
was like, Mastodon, you are so above that.
I don't know
What were
why
you
they decided to
doing?
do that. I don't know. That's the weirdest thing they've ever done. But it's the
I'm
only
not
song like that, so whatever.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that like you can't incorporate that maybe in like some sort of interesting way,
The lyrics were
but
fucking like if they changed
that
the
that
lyrics
was
to
it.
something,
Yeah, it was
let's
what they
get up
said.
and rock and roll, like that would have been so much better. Like it actually kind of sounds creepy. So like if they would have kept with the theme, it would have actually sounded cool, but the lyrics were just what the fuck.
Yeah, I know. It's just like I mean, maybe they were parodying, but like I don't know. Like it just when like even if like okay, let me put it this way. With the whole, well, it was parodying it. When like that is like a defense to justify if something that's bad is good. That that's just a cope.
Yeah, yeah,
That's just a
exactly.
cope because like you want to think it's good, but it's really not. So you're like, well, it's actually a parody, and it's like, no, it's just bad.
I don't think it's a parody. I think they just probably like got their kids on the mic because they thought it was a cute, wholesome moment or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't
It's just
know.
like,
And like you said, it's like supposed to be creepy, and then it's like I really don't know what the fuck they were. It's like Mastodon, what were you doing? And I've never said that in my entire time listening to them from the stuff you've shown me. I've never at one point gone like, yeah, guys, like what were you doing exactly? Like everything they've done, like it's always just kind of made sense and it just kind of works. But that was the only time where I was just not like this is just it's just wow, that was cringe.
see, the thing that's really interesting about them is that like they're all getting older, right? So like most of them don't want to scream and like do more of the aggressive shit and
That's
like write
fair.
really complex stuff anymore. So it's like Blood Mountain was, I think, the last album where they had like the heaviest screaming mixed with like the clean vocals and the catchy choruses. So it's like Leviathan is Leviathan is the reason why I was gonna do this one because like the riffs on Leviathan are fucking a lot better than the riffs on Once More Around the Sun. But like I don't know if you would get into the actual like the vocals are a little bit more rough around the edges than even on Blood Mountain. So they're and on that aspect it's kind of hard to get into, but besides that, like they're all fucking pumping just insanely awesome songs. So
Dude, I'll try that one out. I mean,
it's a hard listen though for if you're not used to it. But I mean, I feel like you're getting more accustomed to it. I don't know. But this
well,
album, I don't know.
actually, I met this guy last week where he like the only two Mastodon albums he knew were Remission and Leviathan. But after that, he's like, oh, I
Really?
don't, yeah, it's like that's it. He's like, yeah, I don't know, I kind of forgot that they were a thing, and he's like, yeah, Leviathan is badass. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, Leviathan's a great album. I don't think you like Remission at all because Remission has cool riffs on it, but it's
You always kind of told me that one was like, yeah, I don't know if I'll. I mean,
I
we
like the album. It's like that's what defined them. Like they were like really
give him a
sludgy and
listen.
just gross sounding and heavy, and like it was just like insane the stuff that they were doing on that album. But I don't know the vocals. I've never really liked the vocals on that album. Leviathan, they at least have a little more structure to it. And Blood Mountain is when they really just like get more work done on the vocals. Like they're obviously more intense, but like they have more melodies to them, and they actually have better structure than them just barking on the mic. So that's kind of the difference because I think Blood Mountain's probably their cleanest heavy song, if that makes sense, or heavy album, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah, I really can see that because, like, honestly, I probably said this like on the episode, but I don't exactly remember what I said for that segment. But Blood Mountain just feels like you're in some mountain at nighttime in like a blizzard in like the Himalayas.
Yeah, you got like
It, yeah,
like
like
same thing with the sword. You got like a fighting demons kind of aura with that
exactly, like
album.
exactly the kind of vibe I'm talking about. Like you're in the Himalayas, you're going through some weird temples and caves, right? Like you're fighting like the Yeti, whatever the fuck it is. Like, oh man, and I love that album cover with the blue and the yeah. I like it better than album cover, not necessarily album,
Yeah.
but I love that album cover better than Crack the Sky.
So I mean, the thing with Mastodon, and I don't really blame them because like, especially like getting it from a guitar player's perspective or just like a songwriter's perspective, like these guys like they can't do albums like Crack the Sky and Leviathan or and Blood Mountain all the time. Like it's insane how much technicianship work goes into that shit. Like I can imagine having to. They even were like, we can't even top this album. Like there's no fucking way.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't do it. Um,
Because like
like
it's their most intricate shit ever. Like I know I keep harping on it, but it really is difficult. Like I listen to insane like technical death stuff, and those guys like that's just all they do. But for a band that like has to be like Mastodon, where it's like they have to sing at the same time while doing the shit, not just like screaming really fast on like whatever beat like most death metal guys do. Death metal guys don't really care about the vocal rhythm; it kind of just comes out whatever. But these guys actually have structures and rhythms that are different to what they're playing. So it's like I don't blame them sometimes, like trying to like go more simple and also like cater to a wider audience, get more massive, blah 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 blah, try to get on the radio. So all that's well and good, but I don't know. Like I'm just trying to put myself in their shoes. Like they're probably in their mid 40s, so it's like I can't imagine having to keep like outdoing yourself every album. Like that's fucking exhausting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
that's show business, man.
yeah.
That's
So
show
like
business
from
for you.
that era, like I think like Once More Around the Sun is probably. Let me go back and look at their discography before I say something weird. But I think like Once More Around the Sun is probably like the extent of the difficult shit that they do. Um, and then yeah, because after that they do Emperor of Sand, which I think is just honestly B sides of Once More Around the Sun. Then it's a little bit more simple, and then their
Uh,
newest one, Hushed and Grim, which they have some complex parts, but for the most part, it just keeps getting more simple. So I think Once More Around the Sun is their last like more technically difficult album that they've released.
hmm.
But yeah, I mean I mean it's annoying to keep saying it, but they really just they can't top those two albums. I think that's just gonna be what it is.
Yeah, sometimes that's the case. I mean, like, trying to think of another band. I mean, look at how like low Metallica dropped from from the Black album after that.
Yeah.
Like, they just came out with that new. I didn't even listen to it yet.
Oh, have they? I didn't even know they came out with a full album yet.
Yeah,
I don't even
exactly.
know.
Like, that's the level, you know.
I mean, I don't
What?
follow the band, so like it's not hard to do. Like there's a lot of artists where I'm so behind in their music. Even bands I like oh fuck, they dropped a new album. God,
Yeah, I
I'm
didn't
getting to that
know.
age now where I'm just falling behind in everything, and I hate it.
Yeah, same. Like, I feel like I'm old now. I'm like, wait, what? What? Like, people are talking about the shows. I'm like, God, dude, I watch like one episode of Narcos a month. Like, I don't know what shows are being going on right now.
Yeah, fuck,
Yeah.
man, it's not good. It's no good.
Well,
But
I must say, the album cover of the new Metallica album is dog shit.
I'll have to see this now. Let's see.
It's bad.
Metallica, 72 Seasons. That's the album. It's just a broken crib with some. This looks like what was that book
Doesn't
that you read
even.
when you're younger? It's like that I Spy book. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Dude,
Like,
what the fuck, man?
you mean like the. Yeah, exactly. It's like the I Spy, and you have to like beat the thing, and you have to go to the thing. Like, it has the numbers all
Yeah,
coordinated.
it's like find the Lincoln logs on the ground. What Fisher Price vacuum is over? Like you just have to like bunch of. They're all like the similar color, and you have to fucking find the items. Like, what is this, dude? God, 11th studio album from heavy metal bands Metallica. Let's see.
And like
72
it's
Seasons,
so.
Shadows Follow, Screaming Suicide, Sleepwalk My Life Away, You Must Burn, Crown of Barbed Wire, Chasing Light, If Darkness Had a Sun, Too Far Gone, Question Mark, Room of Mirrors, and Inamorata.
Yeah,
Damn, they got an
okay.
11-minute song on this bitch.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, those are bad songs. Like those. I'm sorry, those are bad titles.
I
That
think You Must Burn is probably the dumbest one. I hate like that like angsty fucking
no.
shit.
Sleepwalk my life away.
That's also kind of cringe. Or Screaming Suicide.
If
Shadows Follow.
if
Yeah,
darkness
man.
had a
I think they gotta
son.
hang it up.
Okay, yeah, I know. Okay, guys, for those who are gonna listen to it and be like, you haven't listened to it yet. It's like, yeah, I know, but you can sometimes you can just kind of tell that something's not good. You know? See,
Yeah, I mean, I haven't listened to it, so there might be songs I might like on here, but I don't know.
dude, we should do this.
I'll do it. I actually haven't listened to a full Metallica album, actually,
You've never
all the
listened
way
to a
through.
whole, not any of
Nope,
them? Oh,
not one all
dude,
the way through,
fuck.
ever.
Then we should do one of their good ones first.
Well, actually, hold on. I may have. I've probably have heard all the.
You didn't do Kill 'Em All because I remember that was your favorite, or I'm pretty
Kill 'Em
sure that
All
was
was
your
not my
favorite.
favorite album from them.
What was your favorite? Was it Puppets?
It was either that or Ride the Lightning. I can't even remember.
Okay.
I keep every time I say the songs I think are on the album, they're always on the other one. So it's like fuck, I don't even remember. So Master of Puppets. I mean, I do like a lot of the songs on there. Most of their hits were on there, so I do like that album. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, this one, what the fuck?
I know, and it's like it doesn't even have like the famous like Metallica, you know?
Yeah,
Like I mean, you can see that M right there, but like I didn't even notice that until like now. Yeah, and it's like it kills me because like I want to like Metallica. I want to like this album, right? But it's like you said, they, you gotta hang it up.
yeah. I mean,
I just
I
wish
don't
they
know.
I just wish they performed at the Super Bowl. Everyone's been saying that for years that they're gonna play the Super Bowl and they never do, right?
I
And
don't know why they wouldn't because like they're a very popular.
well,
Like no one would not know who they are. Like they're not extreme, so I don't know why they wouldn't be able to. Like they can play all their hits at the Super Bowl
yeah,
and
and
be
also like
fine. Like they
it
don't have
just
to play all their new shit.
right, and it makes sense because it's literally like it's football, like it goes
Yeah.
well. But I mean, like we know why they don't do it. Uh, it's
I honestly don't know why because they're.
no,
I mean,
you really don't, you really can't think why. Like it's really not hard to figure it out.
well, I know like they want to like sell out to like the most popular artist that's recent being of that year. So like whoever grosses the highest sales is probably who they're gonna go with. But again, like if they had fucking Coldplay play a Super Bowl, they could have Metallica play a Super Bowl.
Good point, but like it is a
Like
test.
I get like the
No,
rap
but
stuff. Like I get why all the rappers do because like that's like literally the most popular genre in this country, and
well,
like
yeah,
what's what
because
the most people listen to or country.
yeah, they're just trying to be the most palatable, right? And well, honestly, like as far as metal bands go, Metallica is probably like
They are the most palatable, I would say.
right, right, like yeah, definitely more than Megadeth. Even though Megadeth is pretty, I
Like
would say, pretty
Like my
palatable.
fucking mom probably likes Enter Sandman. Like they're just like they don't like every like
Right,
they
or
have
even
mass appeal. Like they definitely would they definitely could do it. Like I said, if Coldplay can fucking do the Super Bowl, they can do the Super Bowl.
well, to that point, I must say that is a testament to how far, like, just culturally we've just kept declining. And that was like in 2016, so that was what, like, fuck, 7 years ago. Yeah, so fuck, 2016 was 7 years ago, man.
Yeah, bro. I graduated in 2015. It's all gone downhill from there.
Yep, I forget that too. Well, so like that's the thing, like Coldplay playing now, I don't think that would ever happen. Maybe I could see like Imagine Dragons or something like that, right?
Well, then I don't know that because the last Super who even played was it Rihanna? Who the fuck even was on the last Super
I
Bowl?
don't know. I think it was like it was some pop or like hip hop, the like rapper. I mean that let me see.
But
I
I know
know.
they do throwbacks because the Super Bowl before the last one, they had like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, all the '90s guys. So like they'll do throwbacks, and those guys haven't had a hit in fucking forever, and everyone hates Eminem now. Um,
What did he
so,
do?
huh?
Well, I know he's an asshole, but like, what did he do? Like, what did he
Well,
say?
his new music is just bad.
Oh, that I do know.
Yeah,
Like, no
like
one.
he, yeah,
Yeah, I've even people who are like who love rap music are like, yeah, that's bad. Like, even people that
yeah,
like who are used to like him, like his old stuff, they're like, yeah, he's just really bad now. But like, did he
yeah.
say anything that like pissed people off?
He's just I don't know. I think that style of rap is just dead. Like the whole like complaining and being offensive and just like bitching about shit. I think is that era is kind of gone. So like, he hasn't really adapted. He's just still kind of that angry character. So I think less people relate to that now. Um,
Oh, it was
and
Rihanna.
as yeah, and especially for the offensive things. So it's like you can't drop f bombs and can't talk about murdering people intricately like that. You can talk about shooting people all you want, even if you did it. You can snitch on yourself all you want, but you can't like you know say how you're gonna pull someone's intestines out and bathe in it or some shit. You know what I mean? Like you can't just do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like I said, you have to have that fangirl appeal. Most fangirls don't want to hear that shit. They want to hear about how much money they're gonna make and how many dicks they're gonna suck or how many cars they're gonna drive. Like that's what people want to hear. Not not complaining about the government or other pop stars or murdering people.
The government.
Yeah.
But honestly, like I don't think anything outside of like the hip hop rapper like pop genre will be at the Super Bowl anytime soon.
You never know. I mean, I just don't understand why Metallica's never done it. Especially when they were the most popular thing on the planet. They've
I
they've never played the
know.
Super Bowl.
Actually, I'm curious to see. I want to look up the list of who's been because like I don't like follow football, so like
I'm pretty sure they've never played a Super Bowl. I might be even
no,
wrong
I don't.
about that.
No. You're right. I'm pretty sure like because people have been asking them. There's been petitions for them to be in the Super Bowl halftime show for a long time. Super
I
Bowl
think it would be really
time.
funny if Mastodon played the entirety of Blood Mountain. I mean not the entirety, like all the songs from Blood Mountain for the Super Bowl. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh fuck! What? Gosh! This.
Played in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've never done it.
Let me see. Okay, Wikipedia.
Interesting.
Okay. Super
Oh,
Bowl
Metallica says why they won't play Super Bowl ever. So
one.
maybe it's not even up to. Maybe it's because they just don't want to do it. I'm reading a
Hmm.
small excerpt. He's like, I can't dance. This is James. This may be false. I'm. It's on Metal Injection, so I don't know if this is true or not. But anyway, he says, I can't dance. I can't jump around. I'm not an acrobat. I'm not a variety show. We're artists. We're a band. We love playing songs. We're not gonna fly through the air on a sparkly star with a unicorn. It's become less about music, unfortunately, and more about just the spectacle. When we played for the 50th anniversary of the NFL right here in our hometown, and they didn't even had us do it, that would have been the time. Maybe that time has passed. So I guess they won't even play it now. Whatever.
I actually like kind of can see what he's saying. How like because people are just aren't they're not excited by like just the music anymore. Like it has to be some crazy like like fall from this thing.
Yeah.
Like they have to pull off some crazy stunt, which I
But
don't blame
Coldplay
that.
didn't do that shit. Like they just fucking stand up there and didn't move.
No, but they had stuff that was like off the stage and like they started not on the stage and they had to go on and they had to do this whole
Well,
like you see.
it is a show. Like it's
Yeah, but
never
like
been just
Metallica
like
doesn't
acts
know how the
playing.
fuck like he's just saying like he doesn't like feel like just doing all that bull like he just wants to get up there and play and just like play music.
Yeah, but they do that for their entire career. As like you can't just like do one different thing. I guess they do a
Also,
lot
I
of different. So
mean,
they played in Antarctica. I guess I shouldn't talk shit, but I don't know. Whatever.
they played in Antarctica.
Yeah, they did. They
Oh,
played. They're the
really?
only band that's played on all seven continents,
Oh, really?
or maybe not the only band, but one of the first.
Where in South America did they play?
Probably everywhere. Argentina, Brazil. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fucking Peru, some shit.
Yeah, I know Mexico people like it.
Actually, unironically, Slipknot would be a really great halftime show because they would have a pretty intricate stage setup and a bunch of theatrical shit happen around, and there's 9 guys jumping around and doing crazy shit. So they like, regardless of the music, they actually would put on a really good show for the Super Bowl.
Even like the music too, like that has like rap elements in it, so that could kind of make people interested, you know.
I think yeah, like I know
I like
like I
Slipknot.
don't.
I really kind of grew to like them.
Yeah, I can think because like obviously they don't play that many songs. Like the halftime's not that long, so I can think of 4 or 5
Yeah,
songs they
but
could
they could
chop
make
up and
some. Yeah, they could make like a medley. That'd be cool. I would totally watch that.
yeah, because like they definitely have like radio friendly song. Well, not radio friendly, but stuff that'd be fun for a performance, not just crazy shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would be a great. I would actually be really funny. Like I would hope I'd live long enough to see Slipknot play a Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, I don't know the likelihood of that happening, but
No, there's no way. Everybody's freaking out about all this like Satan imagery and shit. So, like I don't think there's. I mean, no
well,
one really gives a fuck anyway.
I do, but
Well, they don't have like satanic image. Well, I guess they have the goat on one of their albums, but like on their live shit, like there's no like
I didn't
I don't
think
know
that.
like
I didn't think they did. I mean, you could make the argument that the music is demonic. I wouldn't necessarily say that, but like, yeah, I didn't think they had any like satanic symbols or anything like that. I mean, they had like
I
all
think
their
they've had some on like their older masks, but like not. It's just like it's not in their music.
no. I mean, the music is just like I mean, it just talks about like disgusting things, but none of it is clearly like invoking
Their
demons
older album,
or
not the newer albums. The older albums kind of did.
oh, are they really
No,
like
yeah,
that?
the lyrics on the newer stuff are tame compared to their old records.
Yeah, actually, that does make sense now that I think about it.
I mean, like I
Um,
said, you got to be dynamic. You can't just be that way forever. You got to express more sides of yourself.
yeah, unless like what you do is just so good, and then you could just, you know, but that doesn't happen a lot. Um, but that's hard though. I mean, like once you like, that's just the thing. Like when you get famous, is that like I'm sure like because like us from the outside are just, oh, why don't they just give up? Why don't they just hang it up? And then it's like, I mean, like we've never been in that. I mean, I still would agree with that. Like to just hang it up, like it just move on to something else. But like I'm just imagining like just being in the situation and you just experience highs that are like that high. Like it just
Well,
I'm sure it's hard to come down from them. And like once you do actually come down, like it makes sense why a lot of these people like just get depressed or they just commit suicide.
I guess it just depends. Like if they actually really liked the album and they thought they put a lot of work into it and people just didn't like it, that's one different thing. But like if they're just kind of riding the coattails and just being like, all right, let's just make an album and this is kind of good, or yeah, I kind of like this, let's just put it out. That's when I'm like, you probably should hang it up. But I don't know if they like unironically really like the album that they made. I hate it when bands do this, and I'm not saying Metallica does this because I haven't listened to anything from them interview wise in forever, but every time like a band that's been out since the 90s early 2000s, people like ask them like what's your favorite album that you've done, and they're always like, oh, actually the new one's probably the best work we've ever done. It's usually pretty fucking like
Yeah,
tame, or
they
I
just
hate
do
when
that to
people do
like
that.
just to advertise like their new album.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate like promotion shit like that. Just say the one you like the most. Like don't just be like, "Well, actually this new album's got some pretty cool shit on it." It's like, "No shit, we're going to hear it." Just fucking like
Yeah, but
say what
like
you feel.
they do that for like video games too. They're like
I
this
hate
is
that so
this is
much.
the best Call of Duty or like the meme. I don't you don't know anything about like Super Smash Bros culture, do you?
I mean, I played Super Smash Bros
But
since it
like
was
but
on
like
GameCube, but not into the
but
culture, I guess.
yeah, cuz like there's a big online community. Well, not online, sorry. Like there's a big competitive scene and there's a huge like it's almost like the NFL, not to that scale, but it's like that where it has all the players. Everybody knows. We all know who's good, who's bad, who was good, who was bad, who came up, who won this, who won that tournament. Like all that stuff, like all the narratives of who likes who's talking shit. Um,
Right.
but so I actually like kind of I might show this to you. They made a documentary about it. It's actually very well done. Um, and then in it talks about when Brawl came out. And I don't know if you know, but the way Brawl was designed, it was designed to remove all of the competitive features that were in Melee, accidentally, by the way. Um,
Hmm.
which actually you could look at it, was pretty cool. Like all the cool shit you can do in Melee was all just an accident because the game was developed in less than a year. So they just totally just
Wild.
they just bullshitted it, but then it came out great. You can do I actually I could show you this one day. You could do a bunch of cool shit in it. And then Brawl was like they intentionally like so the guy who designed Melee or like the guy who's like the head of Smash in general, like his philosophy is like no, everyone gets to win. Like he doesn't like the idea of like a competitive scene.
Yeah.
Um, right? And say whatever you want about that. But so like he intentionally stripped the features from it, right? And then when the segment of the documentary where it's talking about Brawl, it's showing I think it's like the E3 presentation, and it's got like Reggie. Remember that guy? It's and
Yeah.
it's got like Reggie, and he's like giving the introduction, and he's just like, it's the best Super Smash Brothers by far. And then that like just became like a meme. Everyone's just like, it's the best. Like insert whatever by far.
Yeah, I'm sure. Is that like that's the curse of life? You can put so much effort into something and it just becomes mediocre, but then you can fucking bullshit wing your way on or do
I know
something
the
on accident and then
flukes.
becomes a cult classic. It's
Yeah,
insane.
flukes. It's so crazy. You know?
Yeah, how
Um
much genius shit has been created off of accidents is astronomical.
yeah, it's called lightning in a bottle for a reason. You can't try to catch lightning in a bottle. It just
It's so frustrating because like it's just you just have to wait and you can put as much work as you want, but you can't just capture that lightning forcefully. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's just when it comes to music, I think music is just like we've said before, good music is just hard to make and you can't do it every time. So you just
Anything is
gotta
hard to make.
yeah,
Really, like honestly, like good food, that's hard to make.
yeah,
um Dude,
that is true.
I pulled up the list of the performers at the halftime shows. Get this, it's Super Bowl one. The performer was the University of Arizona Symphonic Marching Band.
See, I'm glad we got away from that. That'd be fucking boring. Oh, I'd kill myself if I had to listen to a
Well, no,
fucking marching band.
I kind of want to hear what this. Oh, dude, they played the William Tell Overture. That's badass. That's badass. You know what I'm talking about?
Maybe no, I'm not into
It's
that kind of culture.
it's the
That's so stupid. What the
it's
fuck?
epic, dude.
No,
It's
it's
epic.
not.
Now we
Are
got
you fucking? That's like a Tom and Jerry chase scene. Like, what the
yeah,
fuck?
it's a well constructed piece of music. I appreciate it.
Uh,
Now,
well,
okay,
I'm glad we
for
moved away from marching bands for the halftime. I'd rather watch some dumb bitch twerk and then make fun of her than just sit there like,
I'd rather the marching bands, but
yeah, because you're classic. You're a
of
classic William,
course we
traditional
got yes,
young old man.
exactly. So we got Grambling State University Marching Band, Florida A&M University Band. Okay, so it looks like it's marching bands for okay. Let me see. It's a marching band. Okay, up until Super Bowl 6 in New Orleans. Okay. So Ella Fitzgerald performed. That makes sense.
Okay, Ella Fitzgerald.
But
I
then
know
we
I've
go,
heard that name.
yeah, she's a jazz musician. Or like, yeah, kind of like blues or something like that. Um, we got, okay, more marching bands. More, okay, Up with the People. I don't know who that is.
No,
Do you
no,
know?
me either. Nope.
Oh, it's a non-profit organization. It's a
What the fuck?
yeah, I don't know. Okay, so more marching bands. So we got Ken Hamilton. I don't know who that is. Up with the people again. Okay, a lot of like drill teams, lots of universities and all this stuff. Okay, so it looks like the first actual like it's a group, right? And it's not a marching band anymore. It looks like is Tops and Blue. Oh
Interesting.
wait, no, never mind. That's not. It's made up of like military members.
I'm
Um,
looking at the worst one people ranked, and apparently the worst halftime show of all time they gave to the Black Eyed Peas in 2011.
was that really that bad?
I guess so. I don't remember it. It was a long ass time ago. Apparently, wait, what? Slash duetted with Fergie's to "Sweet Child of Mine."
Bro,
Christina Aguilera did her fucking national
Gl-
anthem, so
yo,
she obviously sucks.
Gloria Estefan was in the Super Bowl halftime show. What the hell?
Oh god,
She's a really good Cuban singer.
it's probably the most unknown person. Oh, Maroon 5.
That makes sense.
They were really bad. I remember that one. That was fucking awful.
The Maroon Five.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, Travis Scott, Big Boy. Yeah, I remember this.
He
This
was in the
fucking
Michael Jackson. I remember seeing that.
yeah, that one wasn't bad.
Yeah, I mean I wasn't
Um,
alive, but I've seen videos of it. It actually looked pretty, and he played the songs I liked. So
Obviously the Janet Jackson and the Justin Timberlake is the most iconic.
yeah.
No,
Diana
dude, I feel bad
Ross.
for that. Wasn't even her fault.
Wait, is that when she got naked or whatever?
No, like she like Justin Timberlake was supposed to rip like one single piece of clothing off of her, and she had a wardrobe malfunction, and he ended up like ripping more, and then like one of her like tits popped out, and like I think she got fined for it. Then obviously she was like a national embarrassment for a minute. Like it wasn't even her fucking fault. And then Justin Timberlake apologized, like because like it wasn't really his fault either, but he's still the one that fucked up. Or I don't know who fucked up more, him or the costume, but it's just like it's so stupid.
How is he? Is
Justin
he
Timberlake?
Yeah, is he cringe or is he actually like whatever?
I don't really listen to his music. I think he has a good voice.
No, I mean him like as a like in just in real life, like him as a person. Like
I have no idea.
okay, because like he actually has a couple songs I think are pretty decent. Because like it's a lot like it's Michael Jackson inspired, which I think
Yeah,
is I really like those songs. A lot of it I think is just whatever, but he actually gave a really good performance in The Social Network.
I never saw that movie. Did he
Oh,
play
you
Mark Zuckerberg?
No, he played Sean Parker,
Oh,
one of his
who the
shareholders. He's
who
like
the
one of
fuck
the he's like one of the other guys who founded it.
who the fuck played Mark Zuckerberg? Not Andy Samberg, the other guy that looks
Um,
kind of like Andy Samberg.
no,
What the hell's his name?
no,
Not Michael Cera.
it's what?
All those archetypes of curly haired dudes, dorks. Who the fuck? I can't remember. Anyway,
Oh,
dude. Speaking
Je-
of
it
Zuckerberg, do you
was
know that?
it, it was Jesse Eisenberg. That's who he is.
Jesse Eisenberg. That's who it
They're
was.
all
But
Jewish.
dude,
What the hell?
yeah, go figure. Fucking
Right.
speaking of Mark Zuckerberg, do you know? Like I was reading today that he's like gonna have a cage match with Elon Musk.
Yeah, somebody told me that today. I thought they were joking, but they're not.
Like, what the fuck is that, dude? I think honestly, I think Mark Zuckerberg would probably because I think he trains in jujitsu or some shit. I don't think Elon Musk moves from his meme couch.
No, from what I understand, he actually got jacked too.
Elon Musk,
Yeah, you didn't see?
really? Every
Yeah.
time, well, I guess the last thing I saw about him was like people were making fun of him with his shirt off. It was like weirdly shaped torso. It's like bulky at the top and kind of like skinny at the bottom or something. He kind of looked like a Tonka truck with like skinny arms.
No, I don't know if he like does kickboxing or whatever you said he did, but like no, I mean he's working out. He's gotten in much better shape because like these guys like they can do whatever the fuck they want. So it
I'm
makes
just
sense that they all just start working out.
why did I just want to know why? Like apparently Elon Musk was the one that challenged him, and Zuckerberg's like, "Send me the addy, bro." So I don't know why.
Really.
I don't know they're actually gonna do it, but I don't know. They've this
I would totally go like and watch that.
like are they just doing like a charity event?
I don't know.
What?
Wait, what did you
Like
say?
I assume like they would have beef or something, or they got pissed off, and that's why they were doing it. Apparently he was just bored. I guess like where the fuck?
Yeah, because it's like, do they have beef? I mean, I guess they might express like different political views, but yeah,
I
other than
don't know
that,
though.
like, I mean, for some things, I'm sure, but
But like Mark Zuckerberg actually does like jujitsu like tournaments and shit. Like I have like even though like there's celebrities or whatever, I have respect for people that actually do jujitsu because that's not an easy martial arts to do. I don't think you can bullshit your way through it. I think like you legitimately have to like put the work in. So he said he's won a couple tournaments. So Elon Musk might actually have his maker here.
yeah, I remember you said Maynard does it.
Yeah, Maynard does jujitsu. A lot of celebrities do jujitsu that you wouldn't expect, but like it's not like fucking karate. You know what I mean? Because karate is kind of a bullshit martial arts. Obviously, if you're really good at it and you do tournaments, whatever, that's different. But like most like regular people getting into karate, like it's kind of useless. Taekwondo is a little bit more lethal, I think, but jujitsu is nasty.
Oh yeah, that like you can actually use that in real life.
Yeah.
Like in the
Uh,
tier of martial arts. Oh yeah. I mean,
God.
karate, I'm sure you can do shit, but you have to actually be like like really good at it and coordinated to be able to actually like, you know, like just actually like win a street fight.
Yeah. Fucking Elon Musk is such a moron sometimes. He's like, I have this great move that I call the walrus, where I just lie on top of my opponent and do nothing. Like, he's trying so hard to be funny. It's really cringy.
Oh, Elon?
Yes. Like, he just needs to chill the fuck out and focus on making electric cars and fixing our power grid to make this innovation actually part of the future. Like, he's just stop being a fucking idiot.
Sometimes I'm like, I'll, I mean, I'm sure like he talks about it, but I'm just like, what does he do? Like all the time, you know?
It
Like when
seems
he,
like he just like reacts to memes and just makes really bad decisions like for Twitter. Like I don't even know why he bought Twitter.
like
Like it's just a dumpster fire. Like even the people that were on his side are just be like are just kind of jumping ship from him now. I think he's like trying to ban like cis or like the mentioning of that word because it's like supposed to be a slur now, but like for being a proponent of free speech, this is not the direction that you probably should go in. So I don't know what the fuck he's doing. I really don't.
I understand like why he would do something like that because like I mean like in the way I see it, okay, like do I think it should be banned? Like not really, but like think about like for like this for example. Like did you ever even like hear that word before like 2016? Like the concept of being cis? Like no, like
I don't know.
it's totally like an ideological thing. Like nobody knew what that was until 2016, like literally. No
Yeah,
one was
but
like,
I'm of the
"Yeah,
opinion that everyone
I'm
can
a
say all the
cis
dumb shit they
male."
want.
Oh no, yeah, that is true as well. But I guess like I'm just trying to explain like why like he would do something like that.
He's just cherry picks. Like he gets. I feel like he just gets like he's like too sensitive to run a social media platform. Like he just needs to focus on cars and maybe space. I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't know
I don't
SpaceX if it's what's got if that's what's going on
I
for
don't
the.
really care cuz like I don't use Twitter really. I mean, like whatever Elon
I don't
Musk is
either.
right, so like whatever Elon Musk is doing, I honestly don't really care. Like he can I mean, he could do whatever the fuck he wants, right? Like um
No, you can do whatever you want. So I'm just saying, like, it probably would be a lot better for him if you just like stop like worrying about all this other bullshit and just like focused on Tesla, like the most.
I don't even know if he's worried, but I'm sure he's just kind of like just
He
I,
probably gives no
he's
fucks. Like,
he's either bored or he's just kind of dicking around because he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
he just wants to be really well liked, and he wants to be like the Tony Stark of our generation. He wants to be really funny. Like, he wants to. I'm still pissed off about the Dogecoin thing. He was so unfunny. He tanked the cryptocurrency. Like, that'll never. Like, that'll simultaneously be the most hilarious and most irritating thing that's ever happened in my lifetime.
What do you do?
Anyway, he fucking like he was backing Dogecoin, and this isn't like this is just like the jokes. It's like he was doing an SNL skit, and he was so fucking unfunny and unpopular. Like people are saying that it was contributing to the tanking of Dogecoin because of it, because he was backed up for it. But I don't know if that's how it actually happened. I'm just being silly, but. I don't know, like he just comes off really cringy. Like the dude's in his 50s. Like he just needs to fucking chill out. He must be really fucking bored too. But I don't know. I mean, I do like some of his positions on it. I just don't like his delivery, like or his content. Because like he did it, I think it was a our interview with BBC or one of those dumb journalism news outlets where they're just trying to get him in a gotcha moment or just trying to get the moral high road to him. The
Yeah,
tone that they do.
I like when he just dicks those people. That's
Yeah,
satisfying. Cause
yeah.
like
So like he basically was saying like like you'll say something and then your stocks will tank, and he was like, well, if that's the price for me to have free speech, I can accept that. So like he's just willing to lose money over what he wants to say. So on that part, it's like I respect him for that, because like if you're gonna complain about the shit that happens to you when you say something that is unpopular, I think you really shouldn't have any room to complain. Like the consequences of what can happen if you don't actually care, then don't actually care.
and I mean, sure not for everything, but like a lot of stuff he says, like I actually do believe that like he genuinely believes it. Cause a lot of his beliefs like aren't even really like like that radical. That's what like I don't understand why like the left hates him so much. Like he's not conservative at all. Like I don't and that's the other thing. I don't understand why like conservatives love him so much. Like he's not even really that he's not conservative, you know?
Well, you know how that goes. People just latch on to statements,
Well,
and
yeah,
they
because
will die on
it,
that hill politically. So,
well, I
that's
know
just
how,
how it
yeah,
goes.
that's true. Like they say like one thing and then it's oh, he's on our team, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
yeah, I'm like, no, he's really not. I mean, on some things, sure, he's I do like his proponent for like um of how he's like very against like children getting easy access to like all this like trans surgery and like the what is it like the birth blockers? No, not birth. Fuck, not
Hormone
a
blockers.
yeah, not a birth blocker. Fuck.
Birth fuck your baby.
Yeah, no, that's bad.
Birth control.
That is also bad. But I like how I like his opinions on that. I mean, I wish he applied it to like all ages, but um yeah, but like I mean, obviously he's an extremely successful person, and like I do actually have to give him credit for that. A lot of people like to undermine that, but like no, he's a very successful guy, you know.
Well, he
Um
was one of the most richest people on the planet at one point.
yeah. Um and like I know like with the Trump case, you can just make the well like he inherited all that, and that's fair, you know. But
Well,
like
he
if
didn't inherit. I mean, obviously he inherited a lot of money to do the shit that he needs to do. But like you can have a lot of money and fuck it up. So it's like if you're not like in the least bit savvy, like
oh yeah, well
like
yeah,
it doesn't matter how much money you have, you can lose it.
well yeah, that's something I talk about all the time, and that's why like I don't have a problem with Trump either, because like you said, like Trump or Elon Musk can just they can get addicted to heroin and then lose all their shit the next day,
Yeah, I don't have a
like
problem with
it's
people
not
inheriting
it
things and being
yeah,
successful. I just have a problem like if they are not transparent about it, or it's like they pretend to be more self-made than they actually are, and like they try to tell people, regular people, how like oh you can achieve all your dreams and look at me like it's like if you just work hard you can do what I do. It's just like not really. You have to have money to spend money. Like very few things, unless you win the fucking lottery or in the stock market, or you get insanely lucky, or you just have some raw natural talent in the entertainment industry. You can't just fucking just do shit from nothing. You have to have some sort of capital to do anything, and especially in America.
no oh yeah definitely but I think what people fail to understand and this is like something I definitely preach it's like I understand that like you need capital in order to do things, right? And make money financially, right? Like if you want to make big money, like be like an entrepreneur and all that stuff, like not have to work for somebody else, like you just make your own shit, do some, like exactly what I'm talking about. In order to do that, yes, you do need capital, but then it's like, well, okay, how do you get capital? Like you either inherited it or you just had to save up money and invest it
Or
in
you
something.
borrow, it's loans. Most of the time, people are
True, but
loans
you also
for
have
their overhead.
right, but you also got to pay those off, But
Well, yeah, but
no, but what people don't what people just either they don't understand or they just don't want to accept is like at some point or another, like these people like they did have to work and they did have to work really hard to get like what you know like the way that investments work, not just with stocks, but like the way that it's like okay, I have you know $20,000, right? And I run uh you know I run a painting business, for example, right? Like, so if I have I have like $20,000 from earnings, it's like, well, what am I going to invest it in? I can either invest it into just some bullshit, right? Like just some temporary gratification, right? You could invest it in like materials for like the work, right? More paint, right? And that's cool. But that's just the same shit you're doing, right? But like the smart thing to do, obviously, in like business 101 is like you invest all that $20,000 into like, a truck or something like that so that you can get your shit to the jobs. Like it's faster, it's more efficient. People like that are like they look at that, they think it like, that's more professional. They'd rather get from you rather than somebody who's just coming in like some regular car, Like that's the shit that like those decisions are what builds capital over time, right? And like you do that, you reinvest that money, get another truck, get all this money from that, and then okay, yeah, now I can buy a warehouse, and then I have that space, I can store up all this paint.
I will say the one of the difficult things to do is to scale your business appropriately. So sometimes you don't want to throw all your money into future investments if you don't have the sales or the clientele to back it up, or you have too much and you're hemorrhaging money, or not hemorrhaging, you're funneling money too heavily into one area that's not giving you a profitable result. So you just have to be good at budgeting and segmenting where your money goes and how much you actually have to spend to keep all your employees happy and keep your costs down, keep the overhead from just falling in on you. So it just depends. Like I've seen people like heavily invest before they're ready to scale up, and then they just have a drop in sales, or they just have some sort of efficiency problem, and then they're in over their heads, and then they're crippling in the interest, especially if they borrowed the money. So it just depends. Like you have to just scale it correctly. But yeah, most
Yeah,
people
I
don't
mean
do any
it's
investing, which is I
yeah.
don't blame a lot of it, because like we didn't learn to do that shit in school. Like no one talked about invest. Like I had like economics classes, and we would talk about what Roth IRAs are, what how to do taxes, maybe, like the housing market a little bit. Like you never really got in depth into it.
Well,
Like you
okay,
never did practice
here's
models.
here's my take on that. I know I've gone on that train before about like that they didn't teach us how to like do practical shit in school, and
They
it's
did,
like
but it was very vague. You didn't really
no,
go into it like you
but
did other subjects.
here's my thing. Like that's honestly like it's whatever. Who cares? Like your parents can teach you that. Like all this shit.
But your
Like
parents might
better
not be the
actually.
most effective people to teach you that. So like I'd rather have somebody that
Well,
actually
yeah,
knows
but
more
then
about
it's
that
like
shit than my fucking parents.
yeah, but like then like let's not like foster this culture that would make it like so that you just wouldn't really know about like you see what I'm saying? There's like a bunch of shit like that where it's like well, I mean, I'm obviously it wouldn't hurt to like do it in schools, but like I still am a thing. Well, okay, then if it doesn't happen in school, then like your parents can always be just as good, if not better, of an education like tool than school.
I think that not learning how money works and financial independence and literacy is probably by design. Like I most because obviously because they funnel college down your throat so fucking hard. Like if they
Yes,
were to teach you
yeah,
financial literacy, be like, no, I'm not gonna go into debt when I'm fucking eight. Assuming you don't have a scholarship or financial aid, your parents aren't paying for it. If you literally have to just take out loans yourself, like that's the worst deal you could ever think of. It's the worst interest deal you can think of. The amount of years, it's like worse than a mortgage. It's like fuck that.
yeah,
No one
but
in their right, like if that was any other venture besides school, nobody would take that deal. It's awful. So it's like if you actually learn that shit in school and be like, why is this a bad deal? Like where can I actually put my money that would see more greater return in 5 to 10 years? Like what accounts can I put this in? A CD, fucking bonds, trust, whatever
yeah,
the case may be, Roth IRA. Like there's so much shit out there that you can just do. And if you started when you were in your early 20s, by the time you were 40, 50, you'd be set and retired and not have to worry about fucking Social Security. And then if you do the Roth, that shit's already taxed, so you won't even get raped by the government when you need to take that money out. So it's like if you just learn more shit like that, you probably would have a different mindset coming out of school. Obviously, people are gonna be irresponsible, and that's a whole other cultural
oh
story, and
yeah,
just like that's a whole different thing. But like the fact that like they don't even care about like showing us the importance or of how that works, I think is
because
critical and also by
that's by
design.
design, like you said, because like they just like well, and this is the other thing with the whole like college thing. The reason like people aren't thinking about all of the negatives, like like ramifications of like going to college and all that shit. But it's honestly like people don't want to like escape that like I just need the college experience, and it's like no, you fucking
Yeah.
don't. Like it's just there's so much like there's better things to do in life than just to go to college and waste your life.
I
Like
have heard
I'm
that excuse so many times. I've had
it's
that argument with my parents
just
so many times.
like
Like
wait,
fuck the college experience.
like they were saying that to you?
Yeah, so
Like
like we
you
actually were
need the
talking about this
college
the other
experience.
day.
I'm like, no, fuck that.
So here was my argument. My thing was, and that was I gone back and forth because like my dad obviously like went to fucking school to be an engineer and he gets paid very well. to be an engineer. So my thing was like, it just depends on your degree. If you have a highly technical degree, like, doctor, lawyer, engineer, IT, whatever the case may be, if it's a specific thing that you're learning, fine. But like a lot of BAs are kind of useless. And that's the joke, is like people that are, had a psychology degree, if they didn't find a job or didn't know what they want to do, they just go into bartending and then they went to real estate. That was their cycle. But obviously you can do anything with any degree if you have the aptitude and obviously luck, but most of it is a scam if it's not a highly technical degree. You're not learning
Yeah.
useful competitive information, you're learning outdated information that they're just still holding on to for some reason. But anyway, so I was telling them, so I was like, you don't actually learn useful information. For me, what I thought was like marketing and shit like that, it's like that's why I dropped out of it, because like I'd rather have more experience doing like sales and marketing that I'm doing in my job now. I already have 5 years experience, so like I guarantee you I'd be hired by some other company than somebody fresh out of college with a degree. But like, well, getting a degree shows that you have the capability to go through something and you have the determination to finish work. And it's like, that's all well and good, but most jobs don't give a
That
fuck
is
about
true.
that
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
it's
I
like
mean,
that was their whole thing. It's like the college
Yeah.
experience, the energy behind your personality of you did a hard thing and you completed a task. It's like, it's fucking useless.
Yeah,
It's a
but also
useless straw man.
it's not even fucking hard to get one anymore. Like
Yeah.
like the
Anyone can
standards have
do it
been
if you just
lowered.
pay
Like,
attention.
yeah, like the standards are so low now. Like
Yeah, and that's why jobs don't care. Like, are they really gonna hire a dumbass fucking 21-year-old that has a communications degree, or are they gonna hire somebody that's in the field straight out of high school that they're hiring for 5 years, or
yeah,
4 years? You know
no,
what I mean? Like, there's
and
no fucking way.
yeah, and like the guy who's coming straight out of high school, he's not gonna ask for as much money as the guys coming out of college. So like they can just get away with like paying that guy less, you know?
Yeah, there's that
Because
too.
yeah, because that guy, like, he doesn't have to pay off debt and everything, so like he doesn't necessarily even need to be paid that much money. So he wouldn't really care, you know. Yeah,
Right.
like, well, also he doesn't know that, he probably doesn't even know that like they're thinking about that, like, should we pay him less or more? He probably just thinking, yeah, they'll just pay me whatever they'll pay me, you know.
What's the
Um,
other thing too is people don't know the the competitive wage thing. So I
yeah,
mean, employers are starting getting like, oh, these fucking Gen Zers won't even apply to a job if we don't have the salary listed in the title or the descriptions. Like, yeah, no fucking shit. Why? Why would you waste your time for a job that you can't even live off of? Like, you're trying to be intentionally sneaky. Like, and also like people that actually have a useful degree or a lot of experience and they don't negotiate their wage or what they think their time and value is worth competitive in the market is really fucking dumb. And that's also a skill they never taught us either. They just
right.
said, oh, you're just supposed to accept whatever bullshit hand that they give you, and you're lucky enough if you even find a job in this economy. In this economy, what are you, fucking lazy? Like,
Right, and it's always like this economy, and it's like you can find a fucking job. They just don't teach you how to, like, fuck,
but it's
man.
jobs that
Like,
people don't want to do. Like a lot of high-paying trade jobs are fucking hard work, and most people just want to sit in an office and
yeah,
make a
but like, dude,
PowerPoint, want to get
yeah,
paid six figures for it. Like, fuck off.
yeah, but okay, I
I
can see
organize
that, and
meetings. I'm
then
a good team organizational leader. Like, suck my dick.
yeah, but honestly, like, this is another take I have. Anyone who says like, "Oh, I love what I do," that's a cope. That
What do
is
you
such
mean?
a cope. Like people that are just like, "Oh, I love what I do," and I'm like, no, you really don't. Like, no one really loves their job unless you're like,
That's not true.
no, no,
Depends on what
no.
you do.
Unless it's like literally your passion, and like if you're like a football coach, right, or like you're like an artist or something like that, like, you know, or like people that just like they just can say nothing but like positive things about their job, like that's a cope.
I mean, I personally feel like you have to be more autistic than not to enjoy mundane jobs, but I think people can enjoy their job and get,
Well, sure you
especially if they
can.
get paid well for it and like they actually enjoy what they're doing. I think I actually meet a lot of people that are like that. I mean, I know I talk to a lot of people that are doing high schoolers jobs and they're bitching about life and they can't, ever move up, and that's a different story. Everyone's never content with what they are, where they are, or what they have. But I also meet a lot of people that are in their passionate field and they can make a living off of it. So that's refreshing.
Man, I mean, that's like the dream. That's the sweet spot. And if you're there, I'm sure you really are happy. You know,
I
um,
mean, one can only hope. And, I
yeah,
mean,
not
I
every
don't know.
case, but you know, it
I
makes
know what you're
sense.
talking about though. I know what you're talking about. And I don't know. I mean, it's just the grass is always greener. I think people just have this mind, like, because they're never content, they just have this mindset: if I move to this state, if I take this job, if I move to this new position, I'll be more fulfilled. It's like you'll probably just be more stressed out in all actuality. If you don't like the base job that you're doing right now, more of it with more money is just not going to go away if you're having
Yeah,
problems, I think.
that's why like I just I don't want to work for somebody like later on in life. Like I eventually just want to like that's like what I want to just start my businesses. Like I don't want to be working for somebody else and just work
Yeah, some
some
people
like
have that mentality.
yeah, it's just like I don't want to work some bullshit like yeah, like the job I do like you know it's whatever, but it's like that's just life, you know? Like and it's obviously like big people like you've talked about like they just think that like the job they're in is just like that yep that's just like what I'm doing it's like well not necessarily like you can always go back to college you can always go to like trade school you can always just try to work for a different company like just you know there's always competition there's always like there's always opportunity for work here in this country especially
Not yeah, but a lot of it's not like livable work though. A lot of it is just like it's a fucking indentured servitude, pretty much.
well yeah but then
Um,
you just kind of I know it's hard, but then you like you just gotta cut some expenses, save that shit up, and then I mean I know that might take a while, like depending on who you are, where you live, how you know, but it's like it can always work, you know.
well, I'm
I'm
talking about
like
the people like their job won't even cover their fucking rent, so like not even cutting, expenditures. It's like you can't even survive off of this bullshit job.
yeah, but if you can't survive off your bullshit job, then you shouldn't be fucking living like by yourself. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, some people only, are not that lucky to be able to, to get into a situation with someone else. Sometimes it just happens.
Well, yeah, I
But I
know,
mean,
but
regardless, like not a lot of jobs pay that well. You have to have a lot more degree of skill and or just luck. I guess you can get really lucky. There's some really fucking dumb people that I know that have very high paying jobs.
yeah.
But
Well, I mean, I'm a big like believer that like honestly like the money you make like your wage or your salary or whatever the fuck like that is nothing this is like literally not I mean not literally nothing but it essentially has like little to do with how successful somebody is it really is just like it's just decisions like where you put your money your like what you spend your time doing who you spend your time with like that's really where it matters there's a bunch of hidden costs in life you know.
mm-hmm.
You know, like a lot of people just don't see that the way like supply and demand works. And like when people are like, "Oh, this is so expensive," it's like, well, I mean, just think about it. You know, like you know, when it comes to a lot of things, whether it's like gas or like housing or like almost anything. You know,
Yeah, what's crazy to me is like especially in the field that I work is like a lot of boomers that they have this like entitlement that they because they bought an instrument that was expensive back in whatever fucking heyday that they know exactly what it's worth right now and like they always overvalue everything that they have and they don't like how do you not get how the market fluctuates like I don't understand this like it's like this is not what they're currently selling for so either wait until it does or take the hit and people like no I've been fucking doing this for 30 years like fuck I
I've,
know what prices are like no you don't currently because if you don't understand how the market fluctuates you don't know anything
it's like I watched
everyone
Pawn
always
Shop.
has that and
I watched Pawn Star, and I they told me, yeah,
exactly
I've been at this Pawn Star shop for 30 years.
or my favorites when they break and this is more for guns not more for instruments like they'll break out like a fucking book like some old like handbook of like the values of guns like
Yeah.
this is the current competitive rate for this firearm it's like do you look at the fucking internet do you actually like see what's on eBay or gunbrook like no you just fucking just make a number out of your ass and because you're old you think that's right like no
Well,
so many
exactly.
boomers act like that just like fuck off.
Yeah, but that's where that mentality started with the whole you know, like people aren't paid, and it's like it's just like there's so many things wrong with like statements from the boomers where like it's like
Yeah.
where do I even like how do I even begin to like criticize like the stuff that like a lot of stuff like that just like comes from the boomers. Some stuff like people don't even realize. that like they started like the whole like who are you to force your morality onto me? Like all that came from the boomers. Um
It's like it's funny like not only are they cringy, but they're just like fucking untrue. Like they just hold on to the shit that just isn't true. And
yeah,
it's
like
not
it's
even
like yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
my
yeah,
truth
yeah, wait,
versus your
yeah,
truth. It's like
yeah,
they could
like
easily read like fuck.
yeah, like I don't really care if you're cringy as long as you hold on to like the truth, right? Like that's commendable. But you just happen to be cringy, right? But it's
Yeah.
honestly kind of like you can kind of just be like, ah, all right, silly him, right? But like if you're cringe and you're not holding on to it, like that's just like the worst combination.
Let's
Uh,
see. Let's see the worst boomer catchphrases
Actually,
because
there's this really good video of, about that, like the worst like boomer talking points. One of them was like it was like they're trying to divide us or something.
yeah, everyone always says that shit.
Yeah. Or the fuck? Hold on.
Uh,
Yeah, worst boomer. Let me see this shit.
I would say not catch like I would say worst boomer mottos is more because like it's just gonna give you like really stupid like stuff like boob tube and dumb shit like that. Kill me. Let's see the worst boomer mottos. 21 pieces of boomer advice that have aged so poorly they're basically rancid. Let's see. Oh my god. Unhealthy marriage advice. That's like almost every old fucker I talk to. Or the just buy a house.
Yeah, just buy a house. Wait, hold on.
If you really
um,
want to work for a company you like, you can't wait for them first. Go wait in their parking lot every day and eventually they'll let you in. Just march
um,
right on in there. My mom says that all the time. Just march right on in there. Like, no, I'm not going to the police station to just demand a ride along because you want me to do it this weekend.
right.
God,
um,
financial mice.
a lot of the ones I'm seeing are just like they're just like kind of silly cultural misunderstandings. Like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like philosophical things from the boomers.
Life's not fair. You don't always get what you want. Nobody said it would be easy. Um, work hard, play hard.
Yeah, work
Uh,
hard, play hard. And
play
that
stupid games, win dumb prizes, like all those other boomer sayings.
was like some.
Minor in what you love, major in what gets you a job. I mean, that's not horrible advice, I guess, if you really want to go to college. Maybe that is, I don't know. I mean, maybe the whole point is you're supposed to major in what you love, and hopefully that gets you the job. And then if your minor's not going to get you a job, then don't do it, I guess, is more efficient.
Mm. There's got this quote from Jake Damare. Never before has there been a generation blessed with such abundant opportunity who demanded so much more and been seemingly more unwilling to share with future generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just, I don't know if it's just like a, they're a victim to complacency and comfort. Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, like that is undeniably true, like at an unprecedented level.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Financial advice. Yeah, I think that's also like they're just the most uneducated when it comes to like food. That's a really funny thing. Like they unironically think like really shitty fast food is good for you. Like not like I don't care how old I'm gonna live, fucking I'd rather live fun than die old or what the fuck is the my mind's mush right now. You know what I'm talking about. That dumb phrase, right? But they unironically think that like shitty fast food is good, which is insane to me. Like I guess they grew up in that generation where
Were
like
they
McDonald's was the
actually?
most interesting thing that ever happened to them. Or maybe that's older. I don't fucking know. Just like the concept of fast food in general is incredible to me. Or like they're just so unaware. Like it's crazy like how many people that have diabetes that just get their leg taken off. Like fuck it. Like they're just so uneducated about how to eat anything good for you that they just fucking like fuck it, just take my leg, I don't care, I'll continue to eat and die. Like what is wrong? Like they're so fucking stupid, like unironically stupid.
Oof.
Like they even know this shit. Like they're literally willing to die for their ignorance.
Yeah, that's
Or
just
how many
like,
people are on oxygen or they're on fucking rascals and they're still like waddling around fucking going for the Oreos and shit. Like I hate this new mindset where everyone's like there is no such thing as bad food. You just got to eat in moderation. It's like if you don't eat any fucking nutrients regardless of how much exercise you do, like you can eat junk, but like if you eat no nutrients to back it up, if your diet's mostly fat, sugar, and sodium, you're going to fucking die.
yeah, like
Like regardless of how fat or
like
skinny you are, you will die.
boomer diets are just so
Awful.
bad. They're so, it's kind of like mesmerizingly bad. In like,
It blows my mind. It's just like, how have you lived for 60 years and you're still fucking retarded? Like, how? How are you alive this long? How's your heart not exploded? Like, you're literally on oxygen on a rascal. How are you not dead? Like, you're gonna, like,
well, a lot
fuck.
of them did, but the problem is that there was so many of them. Like at one point, literally half of the country was just like boomers, the same age. Like, but like
God.
it's like they're all like, oh, they're all fat and overweight. They all have like cancer and other like some like heart disease. They're all like just like they they're just like use iPads. It's like what? It's like
Like, fucking boomers and their iPads, not these kids and these phones.
right, and it's like, well, where the fuck do you think
Your
they got it
Candy
from,
Crush and
bro?
your 2-inch text letters.
Right, I'm like, where do you think they got it from?
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
the
the whole cancer thing, that's just a product of like our American fucking food is just designed to kill us slowly. But the fact that like they just don't give a fuck and then they're so surprised. Like what?
well, it's just because they were given everything, so they never actually had to like, you know, they never had to do anything.
I get that part, but the fact that like they just like willfully ignore it and just or not even willfully ignore it, just like refuse to accept it. Like the delusion is insane in these people. Like there's no talking with them. You can't like it's you're not even trying to like to convince them. You're just being like, hey, this is
No,
how I live my life, and they're just like, no,
there's
that's wrong.
no
I'm like, no, you're
way.
gonna die. You're wrong. Like you're gonna fucking die soon.
There
Like
is
you.
no way you're gonna convince them, because like they're just they are so imbued and like indoctrinated with like the principles of classical liberalism. It's just like the certain things like there's no chance.
Yeah.
Um, but like I mean classical liberalism, not like 2023 liberalism. Those are very
No,
different
I get.
things.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean like there's a lot of connections obviously, and they are similar in a lot of ways, but yeah, because a lot of people like just they don't understand that the distinction of like what conservatism and liberalism actually like is. Not like I'm not like people just like they only understand the two ideologies in terms of like CNN and Fox News, and it's like no, I think it's a lot more like yeah, I mean it's a bunch of different things, um, but it essentially is like it's more or less like tradition or progress, or actually like this one video I saw actually explained it pretty well. John Doyle, great man by the way. I've referenced him a lot. He's very good. Where he basically like regardless he explained it this way. He's like regardless of whether or not the people who claim to represent these ideologies in politics actually like you know embody these ideas, like the essential difference between left wing and right wing is um the like right wing believes in hierarchy, like just like natural hierarchy, like some things are better than others, right? And then the left wing believes in um equality, like just everything is the same, right? And then the
I would actually
hierarchy is
argue
bad.
that left wing people have a way more intense hierarchical structure, like especially when it comes to skin color, like sexual orientation, gender, what you do, how much money you make. I feel like they almost have like a caste system how they
No,
how they fucking
they don't fucking
virtue
realize it,
everything.
but they don't they think otherwise, or like they don't actually like realize that it's not it's like a shit ideology.
Yeah,
But like the teachings of John Locke.
I learned about him, but I couldn't fucking name you one.
Okay, because he invented like the awful fucking idea that like human beings are like we're born good and that we're all essentially that like we're all literally the same and that the only thing like that makes us different is just all like environmental differences like
Yeah,
other like
nature,
it's
nurture.
all
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right and it's like it's the origins of all of like just the lack of like responsibility and stuff like that of just like oh it's just that it's just oh if I had more of this if I had more of that if I if I had this or this person didn't do that to me and it's like yeah it gets to a point where like you're just kind of responsible for your own actions like I know we're all born in different circumstances and whatever and that does affect us to an extent to a big extent actually but like at the end of the day you always can turn your life around we've talked
I
about that a
just
lot on this
fundamentally
podcast.
I fundamentally disagree with the idea that people are born naturally good, and that's not even me being
Right,
cynical. Like I think
that's
it's just
literally
generally true.
false. Like,
Yeah, like I
um,
don't even know if people are born neutral. I think some people are just wired to be good, and some people are just wired to be bad, and some people kind of float in the gray area depending on their environment. So like I don't know.
yeah, actually, no, he came up with or actually, I don't know if it was him, but somebody in that time of like philosophy in England, they came up with the blank slate theory, which is like we're
That I could
like,
believe more than just inherentness in anything.
but I don't think no, I think that doesn't really make any sense because like even like when like
Well,
we're
not across the
born,
board, no, not like generally.
but also it's like neutral, like human beings are neutral. I think I don't even understand like what that means, because like we always like we're born innately with like desires and whatever. Like we always like we have our like actual physical needs, like without them they'll die, but like we also have like human beings, like every single human being always like is trying to look for like a purpose, right? Like we're trying to look for some greater thing, even if you don't realize it, right? Um, and so I would say that like just being born neutral, that just doesn't really doesn't that just
What
like it doesn't make any sense.
I think it's just like since you don't like since you're born until the time you die, you don't know anything until you have an input of information that you can process, and it depends on how you view life and who's teaching you what, right? It's like it's why you have multiple different cultures of everyone thinking exactly opposite, but then you have some people that they're a world away and they act the same. So like I said, nothing is ever a one brush stroke. I don't think people are born inherently good or bad, or they're inherently born neutral. I think some people are just going to be the way they are, and they're going to fall on whatever spectrum that is. And whether that's more of the environment that they grew up in and the stuff that they were taught, or if they were abused or had a really rough life. It's like there's psychopaths that have a traumatic life, and there's psychopaths that had a good life, even just in serial killers.
That's true.
And like you
Yeah.
can make the argument that all serial killers are inherently born evil or bad or whatever, because it doesn't matter what their upbringing is, they're still just going to have that urge, because not all serial killers were brought up in an abused, household. So it just depends on who it is, and I don't know how far that goes into the unconscious of our human brain, and what wires get fucked up to make us do weird shit. I don't know. I don't think you can boil it down to one philosophy. I think it's just a multitude of factors. That's why I don't like philosophy, because it just takes complex topics and it boils it down to a fucking, a Twitter character. Twitter characters, like I
Not
don't
all
know.
philosophies, but
Not all of them, but the ones that most people quote are just don't really fucking mean anything. I think philosophy in general just doesn't mean anything. It's just blowing air. I used to be very interested in it, but as I grow older, it's just fucking word salad, and it's not even productive.
it's pretty productive. We do philosophy all the time.
Well, I mean, inherently, I guess, but like just like focusing, like if you really take the time to reflect down to the words that you say all the time for everything, like there's no purpose to that. Just do the shit
Absolutely,
that
there is. Then like,
there's not.
are we just like meat sacks? Like
No,
people
you
want
have
to
to have
talk
what
about
I'm saying.
shit.
No,
Like
no. let me
You're
clarify.
literally you're literally doing philosophy right now.
I
Like,
understand that. What I'm saying is like if you have to do so much critical thinking down to all of the words that you say and thinking about every aspect of everything, you're gonna self-destruct. It's just like you're overanalyzing shit that doesn't need to be overanalyzed. Sometimes things are that simple. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to complicate every single aspect of your life to a philosophical slogan and then it just boils it down to one simplistic jargon. Like
it's not for everybody, but like a lot of people like there's like a lot like philosophers like Aristotle and or like Confucius, like people just generally are like, yeah, he was an epic, like a lot of the shit he. Is really valuable. And obviously, it's I don't think anyone will ever get to their level, right? Despite what the fucking Marxists say, like Karl Marx was a shit philosopher. I don't care what anybody says. I don't
I mean,
care.
it's just going to boil down to the things you agree with and the things you don't agree with. I think inherently, or not inherently, like the value you can calculate is if it's useful to your life. But I think like applying that logic
No,
to
but
every single
Marx,
aspect of your
like,
life is not good.
there's so many things where like he's just literally wrong. Either that, I don't know if he like was like intentional or if he was just stupid or I don't know what, but like you're saying it, like the way that like it affects your life, and if you decide to live through that philosophy, you live the way Aristotle lives, you're gonna live a pretty good life. But if you live the way Marx lived and the shit that he like preaches, that's gonna lead to an awful life.
Well, I think it's more of an ideology. It's more of a political ideology than like a true full. I guess it is kind of a.
It's all in
What
the
do you, are
same
what do you
kind
even
of.
define as a philosophy? Like, what is that? Like, what is a philosophy to you? I guess
It's
because
like
like you can say anything, it's a fucking philosophy.
it's just it's just thinking. Oh, that's all it is. Like it's just it literally means love of knowledge. It just means like sitting down and like just like it's just it's like metaphysics. Like it's like about the meaning of things beyond just the matter.
So I guess I'm trying to be very specific with what I say here. I think the useless aspect of philosophy is just overthinking subjects that'll never be relevant to your life. And you can have interest in that stuff and it'd be, it's good to train your brain. I think that's the most important thing about thinking about anything is like you're using your fucking brain, whether it's to create a pretentious sentence or solve a problem or design something, like you're using your brain doing all of those things. So I think the useless aspect is just thinking about shit that's never going to be relevant to your life and overthinking it. Like the concept of the universe or like the concept of where you think humans go after you die besides a religious context, just like
That's
the act of
epic.
just overthinking about it. Like why is that useful to you on this planet?
Well, I mean, it's like but that's the thing. Like people have talked about that. Like you're gonna like if they said something interesting about like you're gonna remember that, and like people like will talk about that for a long time, and that's what they dedicated their life to, right?
I think there's a difference having a general interest in a hobby in something and trying to make a philosophical idea your personality, but it has no actual effect or no like real substance outside of you just thinking about
Mm.
it.
I
You know what I'm
I
saying? Like,
I have a take on this. I think
okay.
honestly, like this, like what you're saying, it's kind of like it's the same situation with art, where like modern art is just like we all know it's bad, it's pretentious, it's cringe, it's ugly. I think like modern philosophy is the same way. Like it's half baked. We all know this shit. It's just like you know you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I guess like in that own right, it's useless anyway. Because I remember when I did take philosophy, he was like anything you can think of, it's already been thought of before. So it's like there's no point in trying to make up something new. You're just supposed to learn whatever someone before you said. So it's like in that case, it's just you listen to the people that inspire you, whoever the fuck they are, and there you go. Like they're your philosopher, I guess. So it's like there's no point in trying to do all this shit yourself because eventually you're just gonna look it up and someone else already said it. So in that regard, it is like
I
virtually
wonder
useless.
I wonder how much how true that is.
I don't know how true it is, but like it's just that I don't like the attitude of philosophy. It has a very like gatekeepy ad like energy for no reason. Like no one gives a fuck.
Well, that actually that actually makes me think of a very interesting philosophical question of like, like all of the Plato stuff about how you actually perceive reality. That stuff is very interesting. Um,
Like his allegory of the cave.
yeah, that and like how sure you can really be of like what like you see is that like just being presented to you. Like how do you really know that something is there? Like do you really like is there any way to actually prove that? But also like your thoughts, you know, like something I think in my head, like, is it real just because I can think of it? Like what does it even mean like to be real? Like a unicorn, is that like I mean like when you think of a unicorn, like if I say, "Hey, unicorn," like you have that picture in your head, you know what it is. You know what the essence of a unicorn is, but you know it's not real. But it's like, well, is it real because it's like in my head or something, Like
They would say yes, it has conscious because you thought of it, so it exists somewhere on some plane. They would say, well, I don't know how many would
in
disagree, but I'd say a lot would say yeah.
in like the abstract sense, yes. But it's like, is it physical? Then that's a whole different thing. But then it's like, well, you know, are like is are yeah, exactly. It's just like those really big questions that I think actually are interesting. Like what is real? How sure can you be that they are real? Um, yeah, and just like it's and it's the same thing in Eastern philosophy as well, right? Like that whole um question of like perception, right?
Yeah.
That is always interesting to me, especially
Perception is very scary. Like it's
I
just
I
not even
know.
like on our planet, but yeah, just like it'll literally drive yourself insane if you just keep pushing and digging and trying to, because like there is no, I don't think there, I don't,
Yeah, Plato did like the I think the best that anyone has ever done regarding,
perception.
yeah, and like how it is that we really do understand things, and how like we just kind of there's just things that we just kind of just generally accept, like, yeah, that's just true, but also Plato adds like the political element in the cave of like how like there's actually someone or something like putting something through the lens so that the projector is projecting those certain images on the wall, right? And that's how people perceive the world, you know? And then
Yeah.
once you actually get out of that and you see the whole world outside of the cave, like you had no fucking concept of that. And then you never want to go back to the cave, right? I think that's a lot of like, you know, that's a lot of people that talk about like when they get out of all of like the stupid bullshit of like our culture today, and then
Yeah.
they're like, why the fuck would I want to know about whatever bullshit show is on Netflix or whatever, you know, whatever song just came out. It's like I'd rather be interested in, you know, like I'd rather go to church, for example, or I'd rather go read, or I'd rather just go do something, like I'd rather, play guitar, do a hobby or something. I'd rather just think, like it's that concept, but then it's also it's a bunch of different stuff that the allegory of the cave talks about.
You know
Um
what's really funny is like that was one of the first. It's the only thing that I remember from taking. I only took one semester, granted, and this was years ago. Like I think 2016, literally was when I took it, and it was funny. It's the only thing that I remember, but I thought it was a very interesting concept, and I actually liked it a lot. And I had to do like I can't remember if it was a critical analysis piece on it or if it was a synopsis of it. It was for a test, and I thought I understood the point of it pretty well. I actually liked what I wrote a lot, and I was like, this is cool. I'm gonna enjoy this class. And then I got the paper back, and I fucking failed the assignment. I don't
Really?
remember what I wrote, but I didn't feel like it was that far off. So I really wish I still had it so I could read it. But
Oh
I just
man.
always thought that was funny because like, oh, I love the allegory of the cave, and then like I remember back in school, like I failed the assignment to, correctly describe it or I don't critically analyze it. I don't remember, but I just always think it's really funny, just like failing an assignment of something I thought I did pretty well at. It's always a good humbling experience. Um, but I wish I remember the take that I had because I don't feel like I didn't give like my opinion on it. I just try to like give like a spark notes literal synopsis of what the whole point of it was, and I really don't think it was that far, but I failed. It wasn't even like a C. It was just like F. You did not understand the assignment. It's like, oh fuck, okay,
Yeah.
we're playing this way now. All right,
Ooh.
but no, I think the important part of philosophies plural is the self-reflective stuff, or the death of the ego. You're looking into yourself. I think those are probably the most useful than just pondering the universe, or just
That's epic though. Like that's just cool. Like,
uh,
like on the nature of things, like I think that was fuck, like I forget which Roman philosopher that was. Or like the way like Confucius's like teachings and sayings. He has a bunch of good stuff.
yeah.
Um but also yeah, like I love not just like the universe, but also like it's just, every culture has some sort of understanding, or like they have some sort of perception of like the cosmos, as like the Greeks put it, which is just like, you know, like we are part of some sort of like ordered like thing, like some ordered body, like some
Sorry,
ordered
my
entity, some
recording cut
ordered,
out,
you
so
know,
Will's gonna have to start his sentence over. So go ahead.
fuck. Damn it. For what? Yeah, I'll figure it out. Just start it back. So should I stop it now and start a new one? Yeah, okay. Yeah, just text me that number. Wait, I can just edit it. Yeah, no, I can just edit all this out. And then I can just and then I can just you can cut out segments of a audio. And then you ready? Right. Right. Fuck. Right. So as I was saying, like every culture has some sort of understanding of like, like there's like this purpose here where we are, like it's things like it's like it's not just like the universe isn't just like a or sorry, the world like isn't just like this collection of matter, right? Like just there's a reason for the how why we do things, right? Like there's the cosmos, right? Like you got the divine, you got you got human, you got the living and the dead, and you got like different realms, and you got like an afterlife, you got like it's just interesting, and like the way that like every every culture does philosophy, and they do like literature and things like that, and they try to understand like human nature and like what it is to be human.
I think it's okay. I think it's like the art thing. Like art is important in the fact that like we need to do different stuff and we need to express ourselves in various ways. And art and music being quite relevant. So I think philosophy should more be a hobby and not like it shouldn't be taken as seriously as people take it, I guess. But I do find it interesting. I find the self-reflective stuff more interesting than I do the outside stuff. But I don't know. When I did it,
I
I hated
I think
the
it's all
the
interesting.
attitude about philosophy. I guess is more what was annoying about it, like the prestige of it, when it shouldn't be that prestigious.
I mean, yeah, but dude, like, explain to like the average person the allegory of the cave. Like, they wouldn't understand what the fuck you're talking about.
Do they have to? Like, is that a requirement to like have a good life? You know what I mean? Like, is it really that important to know about?
That's not what I'm saying. But like, when you're talking about like the pretentious attitude or like the like, it's not easy to do. Like, like philosophy is not easy.
Well, no, I mean you can have things that aren't easy that are useless. Like you can do use like you can make like you can like tell somebody to recite the most amount of numbers of pi as they possibly can. That's not easy to fucking do. It goes on forever. It's gonna be what their limit is and how much they can remember. But like, why would you tell them to do that? Like it's useless.
Yeah, but
It's
like, you
jargon.
can and that's not exactly equivalent, I would argue. But like with philosophy, like it gives you a better perspective of the world, like what peoples and cultures have thought about, like what they larp on all the time, like throughout history. Yeah, I just think it informs you more. It allows you to just, like when you're more informed, not in like the whole like media sense, right? Like the, oh, I'm more informed, I can make better decisions. But like the
Right.
more like you're actually, you know what I'm talking about. But the
Yeah.
more you're actually informed on like wisdom and things like that, it just like it allows you to, not just like make it, like, yeah, I mean, it allows you to make better decisions, and it allows you to actually more like think for yourself and just put something, like, think about that, like you were saying with the people that inspired you, and say, okay, how do I put, like, how would I kind of, like, what is my like purpose for doing things, right? And like, I just think like you just become more, you just become a better person, like you become like better at the things you do, you become a more virtuous person, right? It's also just interesting, like the topics that are talked about. um there's a bunch of different reasons. I wasn't exactly like, I'm sure I could write this down eventually and explain this in a more elaborate and eloquent way, but that's really how I would put it.
No, I
It's just,
understand I understand your point of like if you do any sort of critical thinking or you go around the world and try to see how other people think and do things, you'll become more versatile and you'll like I said, the more you use your brain, the smarter you'll fucking be in any situation. My point with philosophy in general is that like most of it's fucking useless. Like most of it you won't really learn. Like you'll learn something, but you
what is
won't
the
really
like,
like learn anything like tangible. Like it won't have any specific use, and it doesn't have to have a specific use, but it also just like people just chalk it up to be more like educational than it really is. Like it really is just like you're looking at somebody's opinion of how something works without actual proof of it. You know what I'm saying? Like
wait,
it's a
I
perspective that you're
know.
gaining. It maybe and if it applies to your life and it makes you a better person, then it's very important to you. But I think just learning about it for no reason just doesn't serve a purpose. But if you find it interesting and it's actually like you're interested in it, then sure. But like I feel like the people that like if they take strict philosophical things and they apply it to their life or they try to police other people with it, like it actually makes you more closed-minded than you accepting things and taking in new information, with a grain of salt and seeing what works for you in your real life. So I feel like it can have a negative effect if you get way too heavy into it, honestly.
It's anything really.
Well, yeah, it's anything,
Because
but
then,
yeah.
well, because then you're not even really like following the philosophy, Um,
Well, I feel
but
like giving yourself a strict
it's
rule to like think about things without even testing it first to see if it works for you, but just saying like this is how the world works or this is how you should think about a certain XYZ thing, I don't think is productive.
that's when it becomes ideology.
I mean, I don't
And
think there.
ideology, it's just watered down religion. That's a
Well, you say
I
yourself,
forget
philosophy is
like,
just thinking about things. So, like, whether it's an ideology and a religion, like a lot of people thought really hard and they thought about moral questions and thought about the power of fucking will and all that shit. Like, they actually took the time to think about it philosophically. So, by that definition, like anything that they thought about more than just I like this or don't like this is a philosophy, really, or just people's opinions. So I don't know. That's why I think you're just like you're studying people's opinions on things, and if they work for you, great.
Like people's opinions, like yeah, I guess, but like like when I think someone's like opinion, I don't know. It just seems more like it's just not as highbrow, if that makes sense. Um,
Eyebrows, what?
but as like philosophy or ideology or something like that.
I mean, they're just really
Like
witty
like just
opinions. I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess it isn't as eyebrow, but I mean, again, like,
I
I don't
guess.
know.
Well, and also like I mean, it's like like there's good and bad philosophy, just in the sense that like there's good and bad music, and I know some people legitimately don't like music, and that's fine. I mean, I don't know what the hell's wrong with them, but
Yeah, freaks of nature, like
right.
silence and
Um,
turtlenecks.
no, I mean that's for some people. But it's honestly like, well, so I know the word means knowledge, but I think it's honestly just it's I mean it's really wisdom as opposed to knowledge, right? Like like you were saying, like, well, it's not really useful, right? And I think yes, for like knowledge sake, right, just information, sure, you can make that case. But I think for like as far as wisdom goes, like you get a lot from that.
I mean, I feel like you can only get it if it applies to what you're doing. Like, I feel like you can learn a lot of very smart takes of wisdom and have it not change your life. You know, nothing has to be as profound, or things don't have to be as profound. Fuck, man. I don't even know what I'm trying. Wait, hold on. Things are only going to be as profound as you are capable and as what you make it. You know, like I.
Right. So if you're dumb, then like philosophy's not really gonna do
Well,
much
no,
to you,
it's not even if you're dumb.
unless
It's just like what, like I guess it really just depends
well,
on
no,
what you're learning. Like, what is the
actually,
thing?
the people who it doesn't won't do anything to them is average intelligence people,
Why? Because like they're less
because they're like
credulous, or they're
no,
more credulous. I would say.
well, because like they're smart enough. It's the whole horseshoe theory of practical intelligence. Like they're smart enough to realize that like, okay, I can understand some philosophy like better than these like stupid people, but like that's all that they think about. So they think, I'm some like I'm like a philosopher, and it's just that's all they think about. Whereas like someone who's a low IQ is just gonna like, like a lot of these high IQ like philosophical positions, right? Of like wisdom, like literally low IQ people hold the same exact like viewpoints. They just don't exactly know how to like articulate it in the same way. Like the big thing with the John Doe was the defund the police. How like a low IQ person and like a super high IQ person would like say the exact same thing about like no, like we cannot defund the police. That's insane. Whereas like someone is like an average IQ would be like, actually like we do need to defund the police because like, like crime is just from socioeconomic like just like situations, and instead of cops we need social workers and everything to de-escalate situations. And then like both like the high IQ and the low IQ person would just like start laughing is basically what John Doyle explains, right? And like you see what I'm saying, where it's like they're smart enough to see that they're smarter than some people, but they don't actually see any of like how like because like they're coping with the fact that they're mediocre. So like they don't understand it's either they know and they're just coping, or they just literally don't understand that like all the stuff they're saying is just wrong on so many levels. It's just they just think it's right because it's like it's just articulated in a way that's like it's better than like in a way that like a low IQ person would say it, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I honestly just, like I said before, it just depends on the topic that you're talking about and how much experience you have in said topic. Because I feel like anybody of any intelligence can fucking say whatever, but then that's different from the people that actually are in that. You know what I mean? They actually deal with it as like the police thing. Like you can have like really smart, stupid, average people just like say their piece, but they don't actually know because they've never done it. They've never been into it.
But yeah, it's not. This isn't a fact. I mean, it's just like a. I mean, it's a fun little like. I mean, it's a theory, literally,
No, I
but
get the premise
um,
of the theory. So it's like you kind of have like, well, that's kind of the way our education system was designed. You know, just smart enough to work the machines and just dumb enough to not understand how they work. Like that's kind of what we've been raised as, you know, as a society. But I mean,
yeah, it's just we're just like so like over intellectualized, you know. But it's also it's just it's just interesting to think
which
how
is what
like
philosophy is then.
all
So it's like that's kind of my point with it. You kind of were saying what I'm saying
is it, wait what?
because like philosophy is just for those average intelligent people because like they'll just say word
Well, it
salad.
yeah, but throughout history, like it wasn't really that wasn't really the case. Like it wasn't because like people weren't always like people didn't always know how to read and write,
Right.
you know. So like, but the problem when everyone gets access to that is that this happens, right? And you get a bunch of bullshit. Um, or also you get just a bunch of people that just don't understand it and they take it in the complete wrong way. That's like part of the reason why they wouldn't let you read the Bible back in the day, because there's a bunch of shit in the Bible that like if you don't understand what it means, it literally is like insane, you know.
I think theologians did a good enough job on that on their own to fucking give their shitty takes on the Bible. I don't think they needed the mass public to help them out with that one, but regardless, I don't know. I that's why I think like training your brain to do critical thinking to solve problems is way more useful than just thinking about ideas, you know? Like training your brain to do numbers and training your brain to do all this other useful shit because like I feel like average intelligent people can't handle highly like IT or you know engineering or anything like that because like you can have somebody that's average like you said have say the most smart sounding thing in your life but they can't design anything or they can't you know do a math equation which is way more useful so that's what I'm saying I think it's more prestigious than it needs to be or it's more highly esteemed than what it actually is compared to all these other people that can do these amazing skills that kind of just get overlooked.
Yeah, but like these skills, I mean, a lot of it's just utilitarianism. Like it's just purely material, and it's like great. Like we can make a vehicle that runs faster. You
Well,
know,
believe it or not, we need to
great,
rely on
great.
material aspects because we live in a material planet and you eat material food and you wear material clothes. You can't just think about shit all the time and have nothing. Obviously, you don't want to worship and idolize material things. That's not what I'm saying. But like since you have to deal with material things, you have to figure out how to conquer that.
But it's not purely material things. It's also like just industrial things too. You know, like like well, we invented the car. Well, and it's like well look at all of these like great things it does and it's like that's fair but it's like it fails to see any of the potential negative aspects of inventing like widespread transportation, right?
I mean, everything has risks and cons, and I mean that's just how it is with
Yeah,
life.
but
You
a lot of
can't
people,
have like
yeah, but most people just don't see that. Like the average IQ person just doesn't think about that.
well, everything has a cause and effect. Like I mean, if people just sat
Like
around
they
and
don't
think
like
about things
people
all
just
day, like what would be the negative effects of doing that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but people don't think about that. They always just think about positive effects.
okay, I guess yeah, I agree with that.
Like you see, like yeah, okay. That's really just the point I was trying to make.
I don't think philosophy solves that problem.
Well, no, because not everyone should have it. But
Yeah.
see, like this is why certain things were restricted from people. And I wish people would like understand this because a lot of people are just so arrogant in that respect. Like, why didn't they teach people how to read or write? And it's like you just look at them and it's like that's fucking why. Like you are why they didn't, you know? Oh man.
Well, I mean, I don't think they were taught effect. I think modern day. I mean, this is also mainly just in this country. Like you like obviously like a lot of people that are dumb across the world are mostly because like they're poor or like they don't know like or they're in a very heavily restrictive culture. Most of those people are like are of those two reasons of why they're mostly dumb. But you have a lot of insanely intelligent people that are from other
Oh
countries
yeah,
just in general. But like here,
that's
most people
true.
are just
Well,
fucking
like
dumb. Like it's not even like a stereotype to say it. It's just like it's how our education system raises us. It's the food and drinks that we have. It's the opportunities that we have. It's the complacency. It's just the comfort, and it's a bunch of other. So it's like we're a very unique case. I feel like we have the most dumb people per capita than any other country on the planet.
It's just dumb to like low. Because like that's the thing with IQ is that it's just a test of abstract thought. Like it has nothing to do with actual like, you know, like the real world essentially. So like that's why like people with a low IQ have common sense because like they need it to survive
Right.
because they don't, like you're saying, like because a lot of them like it's just a lot of it is just it's just material or like they're not as well off, so like they don't have access to this like education where you learn it in this like orderly fashion, right? So like they're not gonna know like the Pythagorean theorem, right? But they're gonna know how to like you know fix a well or whatever, like you see like
I'd be curious to know like what statistics, because like there's people that can like have street smarts to survive, and there's also people that are also really fucking stupid, and that's how they get like killed, and that's how they just can't like they can't get out of their situation too. So it's like I'm curious to know how much more is like that, because obviously the one thing that you can get out of that is resourcefulness. Like you can be very crafty and
right.
very resourceful growing up in a shitty situation if you're not stupid. You know what I mean? Like you can learn that, but then you cannot be technically book smart and not know math problems and shit, but you still do useful things that apply to your life. You're not sitting around just thinking about things for no reason. You're learning shit that's
Yeah.
useful to you, and that's all material. You have to have like material resourcefulness to survive. That's kind of my point.
Oh, right. Right. But like, I'm just kind of feeding it into the point of like, of the reason like why I think it is esteemed is just because like it's just without the understanding of like that like back in the day like this like this wasn't just like something for everyone like any sort of like literature or like religious texts in any culture really like but it's also like I also don't tolerate at all like the arrogance that like it's exclusively in Western culture that we all have all of this bad stuff. It's like no, like you really think like the Chinese like philosophers were like and the scribes were like showing Chinese peasants who just ate rice like how to write Chinese? Like absolutely fucking not.
Yeah.
Like like yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I hate that idea too. Like the inherent whiteness or the inherent Western thing. It's just like fucking look at any history. Like I, like you don't even
Yeah,
have
like I
to.
hate to exactly like it's not but like what was it like the fuck like I forgot I think it's like Rousseau. He's like essentially like as I understand like the I don't know if it's him or if somebody like they're like the father of the whole like anti-West motif of like everywhere else is beautiful and in peace and harmony and then the West comes and then just fucks everything up
Yeah.
and it's just evil and it's like it's just evil white racism. That's what it has become now, but it's like the origin of that. I want to look more into that.
What do you think about the
Like
Buddhist philosophy? Like to desire is to suffer.
it's interesting because like Buddhism is the closest Eastern religion to Christianity in terms of the actual like principles and everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of the overlap with that in Christianity.
Like the tenets of desire.
Yeah, with desire and like more so like the Christian understanding of that would be like I so like in Buddhism. So you said to desire is to
Suffer.
suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is true because what that in like a Christian understanding would be like, desiring things without like understanding what it is that God wants for us, right? Because obviously there are things that God wants for us that we also desire, right? But there are things that we desire that, God has something better for us, right? And then to just desire that, right? And we don't understand that there's something like, better for us. That would be suffering,
Well,
you
to
know?
me, like I guess it just depends on who you talk to, but I feel like a lot of the religious people I talk to, I feel like their attitude is that they have a divine right to their desires, whether that's manifest destiny, it's finding land, or just like their desire to be wealthy and make money, and like, or their desire to like be fruitful and have children. Like I feel like people like they think they have inherent rights to their desires, and regardless if that
Yeah,
lines up with
yeah,
whatever they believe. I don't know.
well, yeah, desires in a way, like they're a sign of God's love, you know? Like
Right.
they're not inherently bad,
Well, I
right?
think
And
the
it also depends on, what it is you're desiring,
from
you know?
what I understand, the Buddhist concept of desiring is that it's more about being content. So it's like you don't have to, work up to, like, you don't always have to look forward to something new and like just always constantly think about the stuff that you don't have. That's what it's mean. Like the desire is to suffer because you're not happy because you're always thinking about the shit that you don't have and the things you want to achieve, and then once you get it, you're on to the next thing. Like to me, it's just that's what I got was like you're just never content. So like if you keep
Right,
desiring
yeah.
shit, you're just gonna do that until you die, and then you look back at your life and be like, yeah, I accomplished all this stuff, but I was miserable the entire time or for most of it.
Right, because it's like at what cost, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But also they said I
Yeah.
think it's also they said it's part of life too. So I don't know. I'm not really too versed
Well,
into
so
Buddhist shit. I'm not one of those annoying white people, but
yeah, dude, I I saw this I saw this like tier list of religions. Catholicism was number one, and like at the complete bottom, like it was below F tier. It was like all the way on the bottom, separated from every single other religion. It was Buddhism as practiced by white people.
yeah, the fucking
That is like low, the
the
worst.
people you meet in your
Um,
at your rave, your local rave.
yeah,
Shit white people with dreadlocks do.
right.
Yeah.
But so another big thing in the Christian understanding is like, well, so we have all that stuff, like you said, about yes, like the desire, to like accomplish things, to like do great things, on our people's behalf, like conquest, like discovery, creation of life, whatever it may be, like that. But there also exists the concept of like monasticism, right? Which is very much like Buddhism, because like, you know, wait, what?
Nothing. I'm just being stupid. Sorry.
Okay. Well,
I was thinking of
okay.
Manassas. Never mind.
Oh yeah, no, no. Wait, because when you actually look at the lives of like Christian monks and Buddhist monks, like they live pretty similar lives, like they completely just isolate themselves from the rest of society. They give up literally everything they have. Like they're all self-sustaining. They just sit down and just think about deep theological issues for their entire lives, you know? And it's just because like they both have that understanding of like just like rejecting the material world and like understanding that it's passing, right?
Right.
And that like I should be thinking of the divine, right? And whatever Buddha's divine case would be, and then in the Christian case of, yeah, I'd rather just think about God and what He's doing and what He wants for us, but it's cool, like, because I think it, like you said, I am also not necessarily like as like I'm not really well versed in the Buddhism as I should be, right? Or you know, but but like the Western, like the Christian understanding is that like there's like the two paths, right? Like some people like desire, like it's all that stuff is meant for some people, right? But then some people are also meant to just live at a monastery in the middle of nowhere, right? You know, because God has a plan for all of us.
Yeah, I would assume they would. People highly devoted to either faiths have a very strict regimen that they do to adhere to their lives or in their lives.
Yeah, because we're not all the same. I mean, I know there's the whole like concept of like sheep and everything, which is true, but we all at the end of the day are individual. Like we're all different people. Um, but it's but that's how, like, in Western culture you can get like like the epitome of like the just like rejection of like the material self, and it's like you just completely devote yourself to like the life of prayer and all that stuff, and of God and everything would be like, Saint Ignatius of Loyola or something like that, or Saint Benedict. Like one of those you know those types of people, right? And then on the other hand, with like the desire and the conquest and like just that other side of masculinity, because both of them are very masculine, um, you know, lifestyles, right? But
Yeah.
and not in like the bullshit Andrew Tate way. I mean like the actual masculine, like like I'm gonna devote myself to something, right? Um, but then in the other like spectrum, that you get the conquistadors, like Hernan Cortez, Francisco Pizarro, like Christopher Columbus, like they represent that other kind of side that you can choose.
Yeah, and you can
And like,
choose to strap yourselves in a PVC pipe and try to go explode yourself in the bottom of the ocean. they're, they're
oh yeah, that I heard about that. But can we talk about that in a second, and I
yeah,
can just finish
sorry.
this? Right. But um, well, it's like you achieve this sort of like semi eternal state of being. It's really interesting. Like either two of those lifestyles, because like at the end of the day, you did something great in the name of God, right? I know not everyone succeeds in doing so, but that's what the whole point of either like occupation, so to speak, is to do, right? And so like because of what you achieved like for yourself, for your people, and for God, right? Like you're remembered for the end of time, right? And it's just that's such a cool thing to think about.
I wonder though, do they really do it for that reason? Do they just do that just to leave their legacy on Earth and just have other like they want the attention from other people, or at least they want the praise from other people more than they want it from God? That was always my question because I've known a lot of people that were
Oh
like
yeah,
that
that
want to leave their mark for the holy reasons, but I honestly don't think they really cared about that. I really think they just wanted to be revered.
it's definitely the case for some people, yeah. But that's then you're ultimately was missing the point.
Oh, totally. But I
Um,
feel like a lot of people that I knew that said that they didn't actually like practice that or believe that themselves. It's just what they told themselves to make them feel more divide. I don't fucking know what the word is.
well, I think a good example of this would be like George Washington or something like that. You know, like like what he did for like the people of this country, like what he fought for and all of that stuff. Like he totally achieved that state, and he did it, and he did it for his glory, for his people's glory, for God's glory. He did all of it. And I think it's honestly like when you well, okay, no. Like I was gonna say like when you do all of it, but then I'm like, I don't know. But that's just the whole question of like desire and things like that.
Right.
Like, is it selfish? Is it not? I mean, well, that's where philosophy comes from. um, yeah. But like, does the two paths of like Western man kind of make sense? Like the way I explained it.
No, it makes sense, and like I said, I feel
Okay.
like I grew up with a lot of people that had those mentalities, and to be honest with you, like I found them insufferable to be around because I think they weren't actually being genuine. They would just like say things because they sounded good, but they actually were like pretty successful in their lives, and like they could apply that sort of those paths to whatever they did in terms of like their hobbies or their job or their education. Like they're pretty well educated and pretty successful in their everyday life. So there is something to be said to constantly pushing yourself to achieve glory in whatever the sense of the word is and whatever aspect that is. Um, I didn't like being around them. Like there's something about them that was just really fake to me. But that doesn't mean anything. It's just I think like the ability to like get humbled or like bring you down to center is kind of a hard concept for most people in general, regardless of whatever you believe in.
Yeah.
So that's like the part of philosophy that I enjoy is the ego death and the self reflection. Because I feel like you can have two things at the same time. Like you can be very ambitious and have a lot of drive, and also just relax and be centered. Like I feel like a lot of people can, or not a lot of people. I feel like you can achieve both of those things at the same time.
No, I mean,
Because that's why I was going to tie it
but like,
into the whole submarine thing. Because the CEO was fucking really arrogant and he ignored all the like they they pretty much like they fired their safety guy or who the director of whoever's supposed to look over this shit. Basically, they needed a stronger hull and they needed a stronger viewing window because it was not able to reach the depths that they claimed it was, and he pretty much got shit canned and fired. And so the CEO was one of the ones that was killed himself and four other people because of his arrogance and his desire for adventure and risk and glory. The fact that no one else is able to do this, or at least as the way that they're doing it. So people, I mean, obviously people have been memeing it for 3 days, and I thought they're kind of funny because it's a senseless tragedy, kind of like the Titanic, which is ironic to say the least. And the fact that like they paid for a Titanic experience and they sure got one.
right. But
It's just dumb all the way
no,
around.
no, like that. Like, say whatever you want about it, but I think people that are just celebrating like the fact that like it's like that just like some CEO died, like that's sick. Like I'm sorry, like like just people like like another like corporate executive is gone for, and it's like just no, like somebody died, like that's sad, you know?
In brutal ways too. Like I can't imagine what it's like to
Yeah.
die the way they did. But I mean, it's just the irony of it was just fucking funny. So it's like I wasn't celebrating their deaths, but I'd rather him be alive and go to prison. Honestly, like I like if he's the only one that's like, there's no way anyone's surviving that. But like if he did miraculously survive, I wish he would have lived with the guilt and then went to jail.
I must ask you this last question, and then I actually do want kind of want to go to sleep. Um, just give me a short answer.
Fine.
What do you think is more cruel, the death penalty or solitary confinement?
Depends on the person. I would say people that fear death, that's their greater punishment, and the people that like hate being in prison for the rest of their life and have no purpose and they'd rather die. So whatever the opposite of what they want is what they should get, or is more cruel in my opinion. I don't know. I had my view on the death penalty is kind of changed. Like I don't really care. Like if my thing is like some like innocent people do eventually like or not eventually they do get end up like innocent people have got killed from the death penalty. But again, like, is it worse for them to sit in
Right.
jail for 50 years, or to them for them to die instantly? So I don't know. For me, I would not want to die. I would rather live out the rest of my life in prison than just die now because you never know what can happen in 40, 50 years. You know what I mean? So it's just the possibility, and
True.
I want to
True.
experience life to the best that I can. So for me, it would be more cruel to get the death penalty, but I could see how that'd be different for other people.
Man. My like view on it, I absolutely think it should be like used for like felons, you know? Um well, depending on the felony and also how many times you committed it, right? Because it gets to a point where like it's just having someone like that on the streets just or even like, you know, because like you can get you like it gets to a certain point where like you can't even like fill up a prison anymore, or just prisons are just too like costly to like maintain, right? Because like you got to make sure that they don't escape and all that shit. um so yeah, but also like it also just serves as like a, you know, like, just I mean, I know it's scary, but it's just like the, this is what happens if you like murder someone or if you're a pedophile or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, for the worst of the worst, like I don't think it matters. Like I would rather than like as just like an efficiency standpoint, like for the taxpayer money, who gives a fuck about their feelings or whether it's more cruel or not? Like obviously, I don't know. I mean, we're not animals, so it's like the fact that like lethal injection is probably the best way to do it, honestly.
Yeah.
Because like I'm not one of those people that like, oh, they need to suffer. Like I don't care if they do suffer, but like I don't like want it. You know what I mean? Like it's I feel like people have to have some sort of like jealousy and sickness inside themselves to like wish that upon other people, especially if it didn't even happen to them or their own family. Like they just like to cheer on that kind of stuff because it's morally whatever. So I don't know.
Unless like, I mean, unless like that person like did something to you, I can see why you would want to see them suffer. Like if
Right.
they like if like like a murder was like, it was the person who murdered your daughter or something. Like, I can obviously see why you would want to like see that person suffer. If like someone raped your daughter, that
I don't
that
know.
I
Like
I completely understand why you would feel that. I'm not necessarily saying that's right or wrong that you feel like that desire for someone to suffer, but like that makes sense as opposed to just being an outsider.
well, I always think about that. Like if I was to have someone like kill one of my family members or my girlfriend or whoever, right? And so if I was to really ask myself, like, even if I wanted their suffering, it's never gonna bring the person back. It's only gonna like make you more jaded and more deranged, like in the future. Like it just hurts you more. I think is my take on it now. So it's like I feel like you just need to go through your therapy and just cope the way you need to cope. I don't feel like watching somebody suffer. Like there is no payback. There is no justice. Like regardless if they get off free or they die or they sit in jail for the rest of their life or they suffer a painful death, like everything has its end. And once that's over, like once they're both like once my daughter or whoever's dead and once they're dead, what then? You know what I mean? Like seeing them suffer is not gonna make you feel better. You know what I mean? Like it just isn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cliche, but it's the whole like thing you see in a lot of literature, like like revenge like won't get your daughter back.
Yeah,
Or I think it's the Confucian saying, which is if you go down the path of revenge, first you dig two graves, which I think is it. That's very, 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 very interesting.
it depends. I think revenge is fair. Like I feel like it just depends on what you're doing. I don't know. Like if you're willing to accept the consequences because you have nothing else to lose, then as long as you know what you're getting into. But I don't think like let's say like somebody kills your
Yeah, like
dad
like
and
what
then
you have to live for. Yeah,
yes, like somebody
like
kills your dad, then like they weren't caught, then you're able to find them before, they're able to get caught by authorities. So like, and then you kill them, and so like technically it's fair. It's revenge, eye for an eye. Like they killed your family, you kill them, right? But then where do you go from there? You're still gonna deal with the hurt and loss of of your loved one, right? And yeah, you might have some temporary release because that guy is no longer there, but you're still gonna be dealing with that hurt. So I don't think it's an end. Like people think it's like an end all. Like they like oh justice has to be served and it's just a tragedy if it doesn't. Like there really is no justice. The justice is you like
yeah,
healing and
that
like and
that 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 is true.
yeah
Yeah.
like that the real justice is you moving on and like not letting it not letting it affect you, but like actually healing from it and moving on with your life and living your life. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's the real justice is that you're eventually to you're stronger now. Like you've made it through a very insanely traumatic event and then you're going to be better on top of it. I feel like that's the true justice. And some people would argue
Yeah.
like, would you rather go through nothing at all or go through something horrible and then have a stronger outlook on life or create beautiful art from it? So there is that aspect too. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah, and like I brought up literature and everything. Like almost every bad guy, like they're always on some sort of like revenge quest.
Yeah.
Um, but like in Kung Fu Panda 2,
You bring up the movie
um,
so much.
it's a good movie. Um, but it's like how I don't remember. I don't know how much you remember of it, but like the whole thing. Remember Shen? Like he figured out like he realized so like the whole thing is like in China they invented fireworks or whatever, but then Shen got this idea like he could use like fireworks as like a weapon, right? And then his parents were freaked out, and they went to the soothsayer, and she foretold that like Shen would do horrible things, but he would be defeated by a warrior black and white and all that stuff, right? And then of course Shen like he got so mad and he went to the panda village and he like slaughtered all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when his parents found out, well, like they didn't find out. He like went back and told them because he thought that they'd be so proud of what he did, and then they were horrified, right? And then they banished him from the city, and that made him so upset, right? And that was the whole thing. Like that was the whole point of his character is like he's trying to get revenge on his parents. Like he comes back to Gongman City, right? He takes back like the tower, right? Like or the castle or whatever, like the imperial tower or whatever it was. And then like he takes his father's throne and he just chucks it out the window. And then he go and he's just waging war and everything. And then the soothsayer is just like like after all this is done, like, will you finally be happy? Will all of this just like would all just come to an end? Like, will you finally be satisfied with all this? And I forgot what he says specifically, you know, but
Yeah, and
it's
it's
just
also never enough. Like once you and I can't remember who said it. I It might have been like Andrew Tate or Jordan Peterson, like one of these guys. Like it's actually one of the takes that I actually generally 100% agree with, and I think it's one that most people can agree with if they really try. If it was coming from anybody else besides those guys in that community, they would probably agree with it. But
right.
they're in terms of like this is just in terms of sexuality. So it's like the people that I know that have been like cheated on, and they're like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna go do the same thing. Once you get that taste, it's kind of hard to break sometimes. It's like the I don't know who
Yeah.
said it, but it's like it's not getting it out of your system, it's introducing it into your system. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah, yeah,
so like
yeah.
I wholeheartedly like once you play with fire, you're gonna get burned like you were before. So that's kind of my thing. Like sometimes that's I mean it's simple. Like your philosophy, two wrongs don't make a right for that reason. It's just I've seen too many people get strung out because they've had something fucked up happen to them, and then it's like with anything, like your parents hit
The
you go bully someone
taste of your own
else.
medicine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's just that's just how life works. And if people just understood that true strength is not succumbing to it and like changing your life for the better or coming out of a situation where you're going to be better than you were before, is that's the true meaning to me. So I think that's a good note to end
Yeah.
on for the night. Strength and solidarity or fortitude.
Yeah. Stoicism.
Stoic.
Stoic.
Stoic. But
I love those movies. Those are great movies.
yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, Stoic the Vast.
Oh yeah. That's a great. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Great DreamWorks movie.
A lot of good stuff in
Yeah. Kung Fu Panda is still better
there. Go fight about it on Reddit.
right. Well, this was a good one.
Yeah.
Now I have to
Think
go wake up super
deeper.
duper early.
Yeah, get fucked, mate.
Yep.
Saturday. Oh no, tomorrow's Friday. Fuck, I don't even know what day it is.
Yep.
Fuck, I gotta get up too. Alrighty.
Yep. Yep. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
See you next time. Bye.